NAMI.org for information, resources, and support. NAMI.org.
Fire, flood, wind damage, arguably a homeowner's worst nightmare. For nearly 4 decades, First Restoration Services have been helping people recover from disasters with trust, integrity, speed, and quality. If you have a disaster, call them today, 1-800-537-6151, or online at FRS247.com.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, FUN. That's fun. Enter it now.
Log on now to ESPNAVL.com.
The pounding begins. The wagons are circled. Every wind is raided. It's football time in America. And this republic has never been stronger. The Sportsocracy, Beer City's best sports talk. Live from the Ingles studio.
It is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy, heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app, seen everywhere on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link. Subscribe to the channel. Join us in the chat. The NFL schedule is out, and we are just one day closer to the full reveal of the Livin' the Dream Tour schedule.
I mean, the NFL schedule, I'm quite psyched about. I don't know how you feel about your team, but I'm looking at mine going, put Aaron Rodgers in mothballs right now. If you don't want to play him week 1, that's fine. If you're that superstitious, I'm good with that. The rest of that schedule, I'm not sure I couldn't play quarterback and take this team to the playoffs.
Yeah, I kept looking at the New York schedule going, wow, there aren't really a whole lot of landmines in there.
I looked at it and thought, man, whatever we did to Roger Goodell a few years ago, we undid that pretty nice.
Well, they're trying to just make sure that the Jets don't jet again, and they did kind of screw you. I'm with Greene. They screwed you a little bit by putting you on Monday Night Football again to start out the season.
I'd be okay. It's not in New York.
That's the only time it matters.
It bothers me way less considering they're not playing on that god-awful turf at MetLife.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, you got a break in the schedule. There are – who got hosed? Was there a team that you looked at and you went, man, that just could not have laid any worse?
Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones' check did not clear this year. Their schedule is awful. They could legit start 2-7, and I wouldn't be surprised in the least.
It is a tough stretch. I mean, they got a couple of winnable games out the gate, but for the most part, you're starting out with the Lions and the Niners and the Ravens and a game at the Steelers, one on the road at the Cleveland Browns to start out the year. Kind of tough.
Oh, it's Gnarls Barkley for sure.
So maybe pump the brakes on the "this is our year" talk. I don't know. That's what we're here for. We're here to break down all of the schedules. We'll tackle the NFC today, the AFC on tomorrow's program. We'll also, throughout the day's program, give you another set of early sneak peek games into the Livin' the Dream Tour.
Bangers. We'll have the full schedule tomorrow, and if you're curious why we're not putting that out today, it's because we're still logistically trying to figure out what NFL games we can get to. Because you know who got hosed by the schedule? We did. Anything we come close to, you can rest assured if there is an NFL team close, they're on the road. Every single time. I stayed up till 2:00 this morning trying to figure that out.
We will have the full reveal of the fall schedule for the Livin' the Dream Tour for you coming up on tomorrow's program. But again, some early sneak peeks, some schedule leaks coming at the end of every hour on today's program, as we've been doing all this week. So the schedule is out, and the one team in the league that did not get a single primetime game
As the team that probably shouldn't have gotten a single primetime game.
Hit the soundbite. Hey.
I was like, hit the soundbite. I don't hit anything. That comes out of my mouth, Tank.
There you go. You figured it out. The Carolina Panthers, no primetime games. The only main game you have is the Germany game against the New York Giants. Schedule, well, look, your team is looking to take a step forward from being the worst in the league. And you have the opportunity to do that this year with hopefully a step forward for your quarterback. I just don't. I look at the schedule, and I don't see a lot of wins there.
Carolina has the funniest schedule I think I've ever seen in my life. So I am higher on them than you are. Mm-hmm. But she's going to be a bit of a roller coaster. So you start at the Saints. You get the Chargers, Raiders, Bengals, Bears. That's the first 5 weeks. What is your record for the Carolina Panthers through 5 weeks?
0-5.
So is mine. What is your record?
You're going to get smoked like a honey ham.
What is your record for the Carolina Panthers after 10 weeks?
Oh, it would be.
They go Falcons in Charlotte, at Washington, at Denver, New Orleans at home, Giants at home.
They got to get them winning 2 games.
I have them 5-5.
Really?
I have them going 0-5 and then winning 5 in a row before the bye week.
Wow, okay.
And I'm going to be really honest with you, I'm not sure how it doesn't happen. I don't like this young team first game out with a new playbook, new coaching staff at New Orleans. I think that's a death wish. The secondary's not good enough to hang with Justin Herbert. That's a loss. The Raiders are just flat out better than you. East Coast team going west, which it's not as bad as the flip of that, but it's still pretty bad. Bengals and the Bears, they're just better than you. All right, that's 0-5. I don't think I even have to explain that all that much.
No.
I have the Falcons starting really poorly going into that Week 6 game, and I think you could have a lot of animus. You could have a lot of bad things happening around Atlanta, so I have them winning that. Washington, I think it takes them a little bit to get it all together. Denver's awful. I don't like New Orleans on the road, and the New York Giants might be the worst roster in the NFL.
Okay.
I don't know that I've ever seen a team do that, where they go
start out 0-5 and go 5-0 in the next set.
And now the detriment, and now the second downside. You get the bye week in week 11. Then you're home for Kansas City, home for Tampa, at Philadelphia. That should take care of any fleeting playoff aspirations you had.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and you get Dallas in Carolina.
I never get them to the point of, hey, we can think about the playoffs. I like the way the team's constructed. I just don't know that you're going to be able to win a whole lot of games. I mean, every game that's questionable is a coin flip to me. The games that are winnable against the Falcons. I think the Falcons are better than you. And if they start out the season poorly and they catch a game at the Carolina Panthers who are also 0-5, I don't think I could give an advantage to Carolina in that game.
I give Carolina an advantage in that and look, the schedule laid out poorly. But, I mean, you said the questionable games. Okay, here are the questionable games for me. I don't like the chances of Atlanta going on the road and beating Carolina. I just don't.
Uh-huh.
The questionable games for me are the opener at New Orleans, because I could see a path that Carolina comes in with their hair on fire because they love Canales, the offense is clicking, and Dennis Allen does what Dennis Allen does. I could also see Carolina being able to score at will on the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the toss-up games to me. I don't see – I mean, I just think Carolina's better than Washington. I know they're better than Denver, and I know they're better than the Giants.
Okay. It's the division games that I have more of a problem with. Dennis Allen New Orleans. Raheem Morris now with the Atlanta Falcons. I think you're behind the 8 ball against both of those teams, and I just don't I'm not ready. I'm not there. I'm not at the point where if I think you're close, am I automatically siding with the Panthers? Not necessarily. I think you can go in against Denver and win on the road. I feel like that's a tough task.
I don't. I feel like that Denver team is god awful.
And then you look at the last stretch of the season, and to me, there just aren't many wins available there. You get Arizona and at Atlanta. You get both games with Tampa Bay after the bye week. You could split that, but again, it's questionable. The games in the NFC South are so close that none of them can be considered blowouts or foregone losses or wins.
I have them beating Arizona in Charlotte. Mm-hmm. I have them losing to Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay, and then I got them going into Atlanta and beating Atlanta. Atlanta's a team with playoff hopes. They're playing for nothing in that Week 18 game, and I have Carolina going in there and beating them for pride. Now, let me ask you this. This would be my bigger takeaway on Carolina. DraftKings Sportsbook right now, official partner of the Sportsocracy, has Carolina at 4.5 wins. Is that not the easiest over you've ever seen in your life?
I thought so before I went through the schedule, and then I ended up with them as a 4-win team.
You have way more belief in way more of these teams than I think you should. First of all, let me as clearly as I can, the NFC South sucks. All 4 of these teams are awful. Talent-wise, if they played in any other division in the league, not one of them would win 5 games. Not one of them. Switch schedules with any team you want to. Any team that does not play in the NFC South and get me to 7 wins with any of them, because I can't do it, and I tried. Mm-hmm. Easiest schedules in the league, I still couldn't get you to 7, but you play each other. I don't think there's a huge difference between any of them. They all have a huge fatal flaw. 2 of them, it's your coach. Atlanta, I don't necessarily think has a huge fatal flaw. I think the roster is flawed.
In what way?
You already have animus to where Kirk Cousins is having to go on a podcast and go, well, me holding a grudge doesn't really do anything. Why are you still talking about it? Like, if you want to move past it, stop answering the question. Yeah, I'm over it. Move on.
Yeah.
That's how you do that. He's obviously not over it. We've seen this. He was this petty in Washington, too. And Carolina, I just look at it and go, you're not as bad as you were last year. Offensive weapons, you're markedly better. Offensive line, you're markedly better. I don't think the defense is going to be that much worse, if at all. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's just I struggle to see this team as 3-14. I think it's revisionist history. You're looking at the dumpster fire that was last year, and you're forgetting how much we liked this roster a year ago.
Okay.
I won't be heavier on any team in the over than the Carolina Panthers.
All right.
And I'll take it from anybody that wants to wager it with me. I am not hard to find. Mm-hmm. I almost gave yours out. I'm so used to going at Sports Think ESPN, I almost gave yours out. At ESPN Draft Nerd. I'll take it from any one of you that you want.
Right. The over on the 4.5 wins for the season for the Carolina Panthers. Flostradamus, Mr. Gambler, says it's one of the easiest bets in the NFL. I'm not so certain that the wins are there. I mean, I do like that you got some games here that are winnable. You know, you can definitely improve on what you were this past year. The question is, can you winnable all the games that are winnable?
You don't have to winnable them all to get over 4.5. Now, look, are you making the playoffs? No. I mean, because I believe that you have to be 9-8 to make the playoffs in the NFC. I'm looking at the schedule going, at best, you go 3-3 in the division. You play Dallas, you play Philadelphia, you play Kansas City, you play the Bengals, you play the Chargers, the Raiders, and the Bears. You would have to win one of those games and win every game that you were supposed to have a shot. So you have there's no pressure here. Anybody with an IQ above salad dressing knows that this is not going to be a playoff team. Those teams tend to play with their hair on fire. I love where Carolina's. I love where they're headed. The end record's not going to be beautiful, but it's going to be better than you think.
They have made market improvement before after they had the number 1 pick with Cam Newton. What was that, 2015? 2014 season? They had 1 win. I think they won 7 the next year. If you have that kind of jump, hog heaven. That's right. That's ceiling of what they could do.
Yes.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. We'll continue to break down the schedules in the NFL, focusing on the other NFC South teams when we come back.
Bonus
Stand for it. We got a super chat when we come back from Bo. I was trying to catch you with that, but you did the segue, and I went, well, there's no way to not make that sound clunky, so we'll start with it coming back.
By Discount Shoes.
Step into savings at Discount Shoes in Brevard Road.
My lovely wife just showed up, so I'm going to say hey to her, and I'll be back in 2
From
minutes.
sporty sneakers to chic sandals, we've got it all. Hurry in and walk out with a deal that'll have you stepping in style. Discount Shoes, 1255 Brevard Road, Asheville.
Hey, are you up for a real challenge? Make-A-Wish Trailblaze Challenge is committed to ensuring that no eligible child waits to experience the hope and joy that a wish brings. Ready to claim your spot? This is a sellout event, so don't wait. www.trailblazechallenge.org.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Some people just know the more you protect, the more you save with Allstate. Because they know insurance math. Like if you protect your home and auto, Allstate can save you up to 25%. So it's like losing money if you don't bundle. Save more when you protect more. Bundle home and auto with Allstate today.
Bundled savings vary by state and are not available in every state. Saving up to 25% is the countrywide average of the maximum available savings off the home policy. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look,
is this the last commercial coming back?
So does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior.
No, there's a 15-second Ingles.
10 for
Instagram. All that filth and years of stains.
You got 30 seconds.
The Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455.
Are we starting here with Atlanta?
Premium care with a southern.
Yeah.
Atlanta, New Orleans, and then we'll do your Bucks at the top of after outside.
Yes, sir.
Taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park? It's all in the bag. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling? Because I love football.
It is ESPN Asheville. We are the Sportsocracy. It's the day after the schedule release. Were you locked in on it every second of the TV specials last night, Flostradamus?
I actually wasn't. So I did a quick live of whoever jumped in. I would do quick reaction to your team. I recorded it, and then I went back and watched it late last night.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And dug into every team. They overdo those to me. Like, there's a really simple way to do this. Just go team by team.
It's nice to have if you have the time to invest in it. I had to catch up on some sleep last night, so I did not. I enjoy.
Tanky went CP before the sun went down.
I did. I got home last night. I was feeling so bad. I got new glasses the other day, so like my head's been hurting because my eyes are still adjusting and my equilibrium's all off, and I'm just not sleeping well. God, I was in the bed at 5:30 yesterday evening.
Is that a jejunum problem? I think that's your jejunum.
A jejunum is
We've got our first super chat
of
of the
learn
day.
what that is.
I'm never going to do it. It's just going to be every body part that I don't know exactly what it is.
All right, we got a super chat in the YouTube comments here from our good buddy Bo Walker. 2-7, does that mean that we can fire everyone we can and cut the rest and start over?
I don't see any way you go 2-7.
Talk about the Carolina Panthers?
He's talking about the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, the Dallas Cowboys.
Bo's a Cowboy fan.
Okay, 2-7.
I don't necessarily think you go 2-7. That's a path. And we'll talk about the Cowboys.
A path.
Well, we're going to open the next hour with the Cowboys because that one to me they're about as interesting as any team in the NFL to me.
Boo! If that goes sideways, that can end in disaster.
I have a basic question for you with Dallas, and I want to see if your answer and my answer are the same.
Okay.
I'll ask it at the top of the next hour.
Okay, you'll ask me at the top of the next hour. All right, let's talk about the rest of the NFC South. We talked about the Panthers schedule, which we will we'll be squeezing them into the Livin' the Dream tour. By the way, December the 1st, they'll be playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Bank of America Stadium. So I feel like at least one of us will be there. So good chance the truck will be there.
There's a good chance that the mobile studio will be. There were 3 dates I saw: Tampa Bay and Charlotte, the Jets in Nashville, and if it's physically possible for me and HWA to get to Pittsburgh to see the Jets and the Steelers, that's going to happen.
Ooh, that would be cool. The Atlanta Falcons. You and I both had them as our pre-release, pre-schedule release favorites in the NFC South. Did your predictions follow suit? Because mine did not. Once we went through with the first reaction pick'em, I ended up with my team winning the division and the Falcons being in second place.
I do not have the Falcons winning the division. I won't go any further than that right this second.
Mm-hmm.
I have the Falcons finishing last in the NFC South. I have them 6-11.
Wow. That's the schedule didn't play them many favors.
Okay, so you said many favors. Tell me where the favor is.
Where the favor comes in?
You start 4 out of your first 5 at home, and I could make an argument that you won't win not a damn one of them.
You may not. You got Pittsburgh at home, then you go to Philadelphia, and
that's
then
0-2
games. Yes, and then 3 games at home against the Kansas City Chiefs.
That's 0-3.
0-3. Then the New Orleans Saints.
That's 0-4.
And then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
And that's 0-5. If you flip that schedule around, I could make the argument they'd be 3-2. But the fact you start off with 3 losses and 2 of which I think there's a great chance you get embarrassed. Mm-hmm. The crowd starts to turn because they didn't love Kirk Cousins in the first place. Then you drafted Michael Penix, which is exactly why we told you this was absolutely ignorant to draft him. They're going to turn on him. I'm telling you right now, there's no team I'm more confident of that they will go under the number. I said it about over with Carolina. I'll say it about under with the Atlanta Falcons. Mm-hmm. Oh, but the talent. Your defense isn't as good as it was. Fact or fiction? No Calais Campbell.
Yeah.
Didn't do anything to upgrade that because, well, we had to get a quarterback. And now you're bringing in a guy in Raheem Morris that plays a completely different brand of football. So your roster did not line up with what it was that he does perfectly. And you just went, you know what? We're going to deal with the offense. Sweet. Enjoy that when you play Pittsburgh.
It could be glaring. And then they go at Carolina, but then you got Seattle, and then at Tampa Bay, Dallas, at the Saints. And you get Denver. Chargers at home, Vikings, Raiders on the road, New York, at Washington, Carolina. Like, I ended up with them being 7-10 in my initial knee-jerk reaction.
I was one game worse than you. I've got them at 6-11.
And I think I could go either way on that. I still want to do the secondary look into the schedule, because I don't know that I'm happy with that number that I ended up with there. But initial reaction is you're a 7-win team.
I have them starting 3-3 and finishing 6-11.
Ooh.
Or no, that's not true. I'm starting 2-4 and finishing 6-11.
Mm-hmm.
And and I gave you some benefits of the doubt. I had you beating Seattle at home. That's not a given. Seattle's better than you. The only problem I have with that is that's a West Coast team coming east. And I'm not sure exactly what I think about Seattle yet. But I gifted you that. You still only win 6 games.
Yeah. I feel like it's a very talented team. The schedule did you no favors early on. Is there a point in the season where you can hit a stride and reel off a bunch of wins in a row? Possibly. I mean, I'm staring at that New Orleans, Denver, Chargers, Vikings, Raiders, Giants. Like that whole end of if things go horribly for those other teams, you could run off a whole stretch of the season there and end up being the champion of this division. Because those are all going to be winnable games if things go south for Harbaugh in L.A. We don't think much of the Vikings. If the Raiders are closer to what I think they are than what Jeremy thinks that they are, then that's going to be an easier winnable game for you.
An easier winnable game in Las Vegas with a team that almost invariably is going to be trending on the disappointing side. Yeah, I don't know what those words together mean because in all the years I've done this, I don't think I've ever seen a winnable game 2,000 miles away from home when probably every member of the media is banging on your coach, banging on your quarterback, and asking why you didn't do something to address your defense. I mean, because what's rose-colored glasses? Where are they at? Do you see any path they beat Pittsburgh week 1? Because I don't.
No.
Do you see any path they beat Philadelphia week 2?
I do not.
Do you see any path they beat Kansas City week 3?
Nope.
You're 0-3 regardless, and I really don't care what you do with the 3 teams in your division because 4 of your next 5 games are against division opponents. We all know how bad that division is. There is no way to get this to quiet down unless you go 8 and you reel off 8 wins in a row. You lose 2 of those games, and you're sitting there at 6-5 going into the bye week. It's going to be loud.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to start talking about Michael Penix. And you said the back end of that schedule, you got the Chargers in Atlanta. That's a team that's going to be able to pass the ball. I mean, I know the receivers aren't great and the defense isn't great. It's still Justin Herbert.
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota, you got Kirk Cousins going back into Minnesota.
Yep.
You got to go to Vegas, so you're on the road for 2 solid weeks. Come back for the Giants. Then you catch a Washington team that is young and may be catching its stride and a Panther team that may be young and catching its stride. Neither one have any expectations whatsoever, and you have a lot.
It's definitely 2 divergent paths there. Logical ways that it could go, in my opinion. It could go off the rails, or you could get hot there at the end of the year.
I don't see. For me, their ceiling is 9-8. Their floor is 5-12.
But the ceiling still could get you close to the playoffs. and could win this division.
It
if
could.
The division is as bad as you say.
I have 9-8 winning the division, but it's not the Falcons and it's not the Panthers. We have breaking news, and they want to see the Tank breaking news dance.
All right.
Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
All right, Jeremy, hit me with it.
We've talked about the underbite. I'll allow the dance. It's the weird that don't make that. I can see you. You can't see me. Don't make that face. That face is awful. That's like vinegar strokes, and it's bad. It's a bad call. I don't like it. Stop that.
It's one step away from the O face.
Xavier Worthy, first-round draft pick of the Kansas City Chiefs. He had his car stolen overnight from in front of his apartment complex.
Did he catch him on foot?
That is a good response to that.
He fast.
My response was going to be, and in other news, Racey Rice tried to race them.
Oh,
he did that thing that you're not supposed to do. Just don't make the joke. It's so easy.
Good one. Good one. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. We'll take the bottom of the hour break here. When we come back, we will talk about the rest of the NFC South, New Orleans Saints, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
This is your Exergen Tempo Scanner.
Clear.
Thank you.
ESPN Asheville.
Skipping the segments, right?
Used to this because once I get a rope, you're going to yank it back. As the showers, thunderstorms, as quickly as tomorrow.
Yeah, we can.
So.
Tonight.
We're going slower than I anticipated.
Mid-50s. And a chance of a shower tomorrow morning. Better chance, actually pretty good chance in the afternoon. Scattered showers, thunder, 75. And shower storms still in the weekend.
Nothing wrong. You had that look to the door look on your face.
This report is sponsored by First Restoration.
Oh, no.
Wind damage, arguably a homeowner's worst
I'll be right
nightmare.
back.
For nearly 4 decades.
Yes, sir.
Have been helping people recover from disasters with trust, integrity, speed, and quality. If you have a disaster, call them today. 1-800-537-6151 or online at frs247.com.
Help the planet with a tip from iHeartRadio Earth. Education doesn't just take place in the classroom. There are many ways children of all ages can learn about sustainability and the environment at home. Visit iHeartRadio.com/Earth for a list of resources, activity guides, and toolkits that are educational and fun for the whole family. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living, or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/Earth. iHeartRadio Earth is here with a new way to enjoy our beautiful planet. Reduce your impact on the environment this fall by packing a waste-free lunch for school or work. Avoid foods with excessive packaging. Use reusable cutlery, napkins, cups, bags, and containers, and recycle or compost any waste when possible. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living, or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/Earth.
Oh, this North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club espresso is strong.
Pace yourself. New winners tend to overdo it on the coffee. And with new scratch-offs out, well...
Hey guys, I'm a new winner. My name's Steve. What's your name? I really love this coffee. Wow, this place is great. Glad I grabbed a new scratch-off. Okay, nice to meet you. Gonna get a massage. Ooh, I think I need to relax.
Told you.
This month's tickets pack $135 million in total prizes. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall to winning range from 1 in 3.41 to 4.25. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Mattress Firm's Memorial Day sale is here. Save up to $500 on select adjustable bed sets like the all-new Temper Adapt collection with advanced pressure relief to help reduce aches and pains. Plus, get a $300 instant gift for pillows and more. Hurry into Mattress Firm today.
When the flowers come into bloom, it is like a field of dreams. Hi, I'm Belinda Smith. My husband Russ and I own Briar Hill Farm in Pickens, South Carolina. Ingles has really brought awareness to locally grown flowers. And they've made it convenient for customers to be able to purchase local flowers, and customers realize the advantage of local flowers being fresher and lasting longer.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at
Are you back?
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within
Yo.
reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
I think it's just vapor. Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
One vape.
Can you hear me?
Nicotine as one pack of cigarettes. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Who's leading in the polls, red or blue?
Who's heading to the governor?
Yo, you there?
Get the latest updates right here
On News Radio 570 WWNC.
Western North Carolina's election station.
Tuesday, July 30th. Orange Peel Events presents
Last commercial.
Chevelle.
There you are. Yep.
Oh, did I go too long?
Yep.
Oops. My bad.
About a minute.
Oh, wow.
I was like, where you at? Where you at?
Oh, oops.
No, you're right.
Lost track of time. My bad.
Next break will be shorter.
That's fine.
Chevelle. Live, July 30th at Rabbit.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to that now.
The Sportsocracy.
Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man.
All right, back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. Schedule release fallout, early predictions, winners and losers, all the things. We're talking about the NFC schedule release today. We'll focus on the AFC teams tomorrow. In the NFC South, the New Orleans Saints. How'd you feel about how their schedule laid out there, Jeremy? Kicking off the season at home against the Carolina Panthers on September 8th, which our local listeners will be able to hear on our sister station, News Radio 570 WWNC.
I feel like there's no way that I'm not higher on New Orleans than you are. I don't think it's physically possible. I don't think there's a way that I'm not higher on New Orleans than you are.
No. There is not a way.
Because I have them winning the division.
Yes, I do not.
I have New Orleans 9-8, and this division, and I didn't do this on purpose. I did this the same way we do it every single year. The Saints finish 9-8. Your Bucks finish second at 8-9. Carolina 7-10. Falcons are 6-11.
Mm-hmm. I had them finishing third in the division, 6-11, which the fly-through did not go well for the Saints. A relook at the schedule may turn out more wins than that for them, but I had them at 6-11, and it's just hard for me to look at this and feel good about much, knowing that I still feel like you're just going to crap a lot of games away, because it's kind of what they've done since Dennis Allen's been the coach.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Why did they do that so often last year? Was it the defense?
They couldn't score.
Exactly. The ability to score has absolutely nothing to do with Dennis Allen. The biggest question is, do you think Clint Kubiak fixes this offense, yes or no?
Sure.
I mean, it can't be any worse. At least that's the way I looked at it. Do I really, honest to God, think this is going to be worse than it was? And look, I mean, I think they got killed in the first, 5 weeks? The first 5 weeks of the schedule were evil.
It's not great. Go to Dallas in week 2 after opening up with Carolina at home. Then you got Philly at home. Road trips to Atlanta and Kansas City. Turn around and host the Bucs in week 6.
And that's where I have the season turning around. I have them beating Tampa Bay and then beating Denver. That would put them at 3-4 with what, to me, would probably be the most important game of the year at the Los Angeles Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
And, we're going to talk about the AFC tomorrow. I'm not wild about how this is setting up for the Chargers. So I haven't beaten the Chargers. You're on a 3-game winning streak. And then the back end of the schedule is just not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you look at the end of that schedule from after the Rams, which comes off a bye and it's at home. Those are really difficult for the road team. I just see a path that New Orleans goes 9-8 and they win this division. I think we overvalue. I mean, look, Dennis Allen is not a good NFL head coach. But the problem last year was with what he doesn't do. The defense had its lapses. I get it. The defense cost them some games. I get it. I just look at where that defense is. The defense, talent-wise, is even better than they were last year.
In the YouTube comments, Colin says they usually beat the Eagles, so you should chalk that one up as a win.
Well, I mean, if that one's a win, then you go 10-7 and you win the division much more comfortably.
Yes.
Look, Philadelphia is a difficult team to gauge. We're going to talk about them probably at the end of this segment.
Mm-hmm.
They're a tough team to gauge, and that could be a pivot spot. If New Orleans could find a way to beat one of the two NFC East teams, either the Eagles or the Cowboys, and the Eagles is in New Orleans, and I don't believe that much in the Cowboys, that kind of changes things. If you can get to 2-3 or 3-2, then this schedule looks way easier. Because you start 3-2, you're going to be probably 7-2 with a date with the Falcons coming into New Orleans. Then you could be 8-2, looking at going at 8-3 going into the bye. That's on the table to me.
Wow.
Who is it that you look at and go, they cannot beat them? Because I got Kansas City, and that's it.
That they cannot beat them?
Yes. I got Kansas City, and there's not another there's not another team on that list.
You're not wrong about that. The problem is that I don't have the faith. I don't have the faith that in a close game you're going to be able to win those games.
Now, do I think they're going to duke you away a couple of those? Yes, I do.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be moderately shocked if they go in and beat Dallas, or if they do beat Philadelphia, or if they beat the Kansas City Chiefs. These tough games are going to be close.
There were not many games on the entire schedule that I had to think about harder than that week 2 date Saints-Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
It took me forever to finally pick that game.
I mean, it's odd to say it's week 2, but that could end up being a pivotal game for both of these teams.
No
Kinda
doubt.
Setting the mark for how the rest of the season is going to go, because that can begin a snowball for both of them.
It certainly can.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 3-time defending NFC South champions, come in.
Did that make you feel good to say that way?
Yeah, I mean it is a fact, right? It's never happened before in franchise history, so you are the champion.
Oh, I mean, I wasn't making
division
fun
for
of
the
you
last
for
3
it making you feel some kind of way. I was just asking if it made you feel some kind of way.
I mean, not really. Not really. I mean, you've been winning the worst division, obviously, and it's funny that the year we won the Super Bowl, I don't even think we won the division.
Correct.
We were the wild card, weren't we?
Yes.
But Tampa Bay, they're going to be the same as they were last year. I feel like they're going to be 9-8, 10-7.
Get me to 10-7. I dare you.
Go.
Get me to 10-7 in a way that won't make me outright laugh at you. Seriously, your schedule is not kind. I thought the NFL
it's hard.
It's 6 of your games are against the worst division in football. So how hard could it be from top to bottom?
Every other week is going to be, it's going to be a roller coaster. Start with Washington and then go to Detroit. And then you get Denver, and then you got Philadelphia. Atlanta, New Orleans, Baltimore. All right, I mean, the division games are never easy. But aside from when compared to Baltimore and Kansas City and San Francisco that are coming up before the bye week, those are your break weeks.
Housed.
Oh, yeah. You're not going to beat Kansas
You will
City.
get housed 3 out of 4 weeks.
Yes.
And here's where here's where their schedule goes sideways for me. All right, and like I said, I have them 8-9. I think that is what they are as a team. Because what you said, and now correct me if I'm wrong here, what you just said is they're going to be exactly what they were last year.
Yeah, pretty much.
You care to tell me how you're going to do that when you don't have anybody that can rush a quarterback? Your secondary is not as good as it was last year. How exactly do you think you're going to be exactly what you were last year? Your schedule's tougher. You caught a lot of breaks last year. I can think of 3 games off the top of my head that if it wasn't for a well-placed horseshoe in your keister, you don't win the division. And you know I'm right.
Yeah.
You don't tend to catch those breaks 2 years in a row.
You don't tend to. I mean, without Carlton Davis, does that make them that much worse than they were last year?
Well, just think about this. Carlton Davis played over who's replacing him. He was pretty much a disaster. The secondary was pretty much a disaster. And now you're playing the guys that he was playing over. Mm-hmm. That doesn't make me feel warm and fuzzy that it's going to get better or even stay as good as it was.
Right.
And I guess I just look at how this starts. You catch a Washington team week 1 that you have absolutely no idea what you're getting. You don't. And now I have you winning that game. But would it stun me if you didn't? No. It really wouldn't. It would not stun me if you didn't. Then you go into Detroit, who I genuinely don't see a path that they don't ruin your week.
Yeah, no question.
I mean, beat you to death. Mm-hmm. And like you said, you get Denver. That should be, in theory, 2-1. Then you get Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. I don't like that so much. Atlanta, New Orleans. Then you go into that juggernaut. Now, just take the journey with me. You do realize that if you lose any game that you're not supposed to, there's a path that you're 3-7 going into the bye.
Yes.
That's on the table.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, Todd Bowles does not make me feel warm and fuzzy about being able to win games that you're supposed to.
I'm more warming to he will.
And that is exactly what I was trying to bait you into saying. Tank,
the team will win the games that they're supposed to win, and they will maybe lose one that you're not supposed to, but then they'll win one that they weren't supposed to.
Tank, what is the line I've told you about Todd Bowles no less than 50 times?
What is that?
He loses when you want him to win, and he wins when you want him to lose. And he's undefeated doing it. He is literally undefeated doing it. Now you come in with actual hope. I watched this happen. I saw this team. This is the Ryan Fitzpatrick Jets all over again. The same team returns, and Todd Bowles is going to Todd Bowles all over this team. I'm just telling you, I watched it. It's the most heartbreaking team in my 20 or now 30 years of Jet fandom. Ryan Fitzpatrick comes in off the best year that we've ever had out of a quarterback. And what happened? The defense was awful. Same players. I think we started 10 of the same 11 guys, and the defense, it was like Philadelphia last year. You don't even look like the same team anymore. And I'm forewarning you. I've thought this all offseason. I wanted to see the schedule before I saw it. This has Todd Bowlesing set up all over it. You call me a hater.
No,
I believed in him.
I'm not calling you a hater. You have history to speak on, right? You have experience with this head coach. You've seen it happen before. This is all the same stuff you told me last year.
And he won when you wanted him to lose because you didn't want to pay Baker Mayfield. This is exactly what I told you was going to happen. You argued with me that Baker's not going to play every game. Yes, he is. I was right there. You're going to win more games, and it's going to take you away from a quarterback. You tell me where I'm wrong. The only thing I missed was that you won a meaningless-ass game in the playoffs against a Philadelphia team that I'm not sure wouldn't have fought each other in the parking lot. That's it. That's the only thing I missed. And now you're sitting here committed to Baker Mayfield, just as I told you would be. The day you signed him, I said this was coming. And brother, I'm just warning you. I ain't been wrong yet, and I don't think I'm wrong now. You're expecting a team that is not as talented with the dumbest head coach in the NFL. And I would say it to his face. He is the worst head coach of the NFL, and we've got Dennis Allen in this league.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna grumper in your punch bowl. It is what he does.
Well, he is. He has the ability to do so, and I still feel like he has the quarterback to lead me down that path. But they were better than I thought they were going to be last year.
And you lost Dave Canales. What happened to Geno Smith when he lost Dave Canales?
I get it. We lost Dave Canales. We'll see how this offense goes without him, with Liam Cohen coming in here.
Yep, he was a coordinator one time in the league too.
Basically the same offense.
Yep, Liam Cohen was an offensive coordinator in this league too once. How'd that go? Oh, the worst year that Sean McVay's ever had. I'm just telling you, this is for me.
Without a quarterback, he had John Wolford. To be fair,
he had Matthew Stafford to start the year, and they got the just heber-jeebers beat out of them in the first week by the Bills. It's revisionist history. Yeah, Stafford got hurt.
Weeks?
Stafford got hurt in that season.
Right.
He played half that year. They were bad before he got hurt. I could look it up in the break, but I want to say he played 8 games that year.
Hang on, I got it.
I'm doing that off the top of my head, so if I'm wrong, I'll admit it. But he played longer.
He played 9 games.
There you go. Everybody makes it sound like, oh, that Liam Cohen year, Matthew Stafford was hurt the whole year. No, he wasn't. At the end, it was bad. Stafford was terrible before that. And Matthew Stafford, his excrement is better than Baker Mayfield. So the more I sound this out, the more I'm going, I'm too high on Tampa. Tampa's probably the team I should have where Atlanta is, because they're the team that craters.
Yeah, I don't see it cratering. You say it's a less talented team. It's not really. It's
where are you better?
The same team.
Name me the position where you're better than you were last year.
The position where we're better?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I feel like the offensive line is going to be better.
Why?
I feel like
because you have a rookie that's going to play a position he hasn't played in 4 years.
Well, I mean, he's better than the alternative, right?
Rookie offensive lineman. Name me the last one that was an all-pro. Because that's what you would need him to be. For your line to be drastically better. For your line to be drastically better.
Well, you're not getting all-pro level play out of your rookie center. I feel like
I agree.
That's hard to do.
It's a hard position for guys that never stopped playing it. It's really hard for a guy that hasn't played it in a presidential term. Right. And I love Graham Barton. That was a great pick. It's just everything that anybody tells me about Tampa Bay. The reason I'm supposed to feel hunky-dunky is for a rookie. Todd Bowles loves to kill rookies. And if you think about what I just said and think about all the guys you've drafted over the years, you'll realize that I'm right. He did it with the Jets. Didn't matter how good they were. He could find a way to make them completely irrelevant or play them out of position. Look, I'm biased against Todd Bowles. I will admit that.
Yeah, we know.
And I probably go too far with him. But I'm also looking at this. As soon as I made I think that was 2015 with Decker and Brandon Marshall and Ryan Fitzpatrick. As soon as I made that connection, I went, oh, my God, I know exactly how this goes. And it's you can't help but lose close games. And it just breaks your heart week in and week out.
Yep. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers live on the thread. How many magical comebacks did we have last year? Baker leading a game-winning drive late in the game. I think we had about 3 or 4 of those games that, very easily 40 seconds to go in that game, we were trailing. Could have lost those games. But we didn't. Is that luck or is it something else? You're in the Sportsocracy, CSPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. It's about time to take our top of the hour break here, but before we do, we got another game to reveal on the Livin' the Dream Tour. Jeremy Greene.
You have the schedule pulled up in front of you.
Yes, on September the 21st, we will be making the trek to Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
Kenan Memorial Stadium.
That's right. The North Carolina Tar Heels playing host to the James Madison
Dukes.
Was that right?
That's right.
The mayonnaise team. So the Fighting Mayonnaises are coming in to take on the Tar Heels. And this is we've dubbed it the Caleb Peak Bowl. Our good friend Caleb Peak, who used to be, a third on our program here, has moved on. He's now working up there at JMU territory.
Yes.
So
he's actually working for their flagship affiliate.
Yes. So JMU, North Carolina, September 21st. You can follow us along on all season long on the YouTubes, obviously, as we will be bringing you all of the games from the road. It's just about each and every weekend. We got something going on, and this adds to our haul. We'll have 2 more games to release over the coming hours of this here program, and then tomorrow, the full schedule release, because we're only going to – the games we've already given you, that ain't even half of it, my friends, and that's a fact. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is CSPN Asheville.
Every so often in medicine, something comes
clear.
Truly revolutionary.
We should talk about Todd Bowles more.
Former orthopedic surgeon, now national medical director.
Would you get all fired up?
Yes, because I know definitively that he's about to just
something he's practiced, researched, and written about for nearly 2 decades.
Goopy in your punch bowl, and I hate it for you. I really do.
Are no longer the best ways.
If you have pain from arthritis or injury, you owe it to yourself to learn more about this exciting option. Using your own body's natural.
I can't see the on-air light, so I still don't feel hunky-dunky enough to say profane words.
Today with
I gotcha.
Satisfies patients, more advanced protocols, or more experience in using this exciting option to deliver life-changing results.
Call Q.
Well, when I say clear, you're clear.
Oh, I know.
My mic not always be off, but yours.
Oh, I know.
333-9517.
I'm also OCD tank, and I've spent many years looking at that light going, hey, I know it's off.
Oh, yeah.
You love. Addicted to true crime? Catch killer cases and more spine-tingling shows on A&E Crime Central. Crave adventure? Explore Asian action movies on Hi-Ya. Searching for something extreme? Check out
going to the NFC East here
on Fuel TV Plus, the global home.
Yeah, we'll start with the Cowboys like we teased.
Okay. We'll have to go a little bit quicker this hour because we'll have to do 6 teams in both of the next 2.
Yep.
Good call on skipping the mid-caps.
At Summit, they submit insurance on your behalf and
saw the writing on the wall on that one early.
An informed treatment decision.
That's why you're a pro. I'm just along for the ride.
Care Credit helps you pay for out-of-pocket health care expense.
I'll be right back.
All right.
Summit Dental has so many 5-star reviews on Google. Book today at AshevilleSummitDental.com. In-house savings programs are also available. Book online at AshevilleSummitDental.com.
We're back counting down to kickoff. Let's look at today's 3 keys to premium pre-gaming with Beast Unleashed, presented by Monster Brewing. Number 1, beat the heat.
Unleash the beast with bold, familiar flavors, 0 caffeine, and 0 sugar.
Number 2, running the option.
There's 4 to choose from: White Haze, Peach Perfect, Scary Berries, and my personal favorite, Mean Green.
And number 3, at 6% ABV, Max Protect.
Always drink responsibly, and you must be 21 or over.
Beast Unleashed, available at your local retailer.
At Ingles, we're proud to work with hundreds of local farms and businesses in the communities we call home. Not only does it ensure that you get top-quality, fresh items for your family table, it's a way for us to support the amazing individuals who pour their heart and soul into delivering the very best they can do. Quality, freshness, community, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Great looking afternoon, but do not get used to this because once I give you enough rope, you're going to yank it back as the showers, thunderstorms return as quickly as tomorrow. 75 sunny degrees today. Tonight, clear with some fog late, mid-50s. And a chance of a shower tomorrow morning. Better chance, actually pretty good chance in the afternoon. Scattered showers, thunder, 75. And shower storms still in the weekend forecast. From the Weather Channel, I'm Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. At Lowe's, save big when you buy in bulk. Save 10% on your choice of any 6 or more interior 6-panel pre-hung slab or bifold doors. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, cash. That's cash. Enter it now.
Log on now to ESPNAVL.com.
The Sportsocracy.
It fires me up, man. I love it. Say it one more time.
The Sportsocracy.
Shake it back!
Beer City's best sports talk.
It is gross.
Just earlier.
They are mature, actually. You just have to get to know them better.
Your lunchtime dose of dumbassery. Live from the Ingles studio.
It is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. The Sportsocracy is heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app, seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat. Today's post-NFL schedule release show, focusing on the NFC teams, deep diving into each of the teams' schedules, where they got a break, obviously, where some teams got absolutely screwed.
Which would take us to the team we're getting ready to talk about.
Yes, indeed. In the NFC East, the Dallas Cowboys, well, I mean, this is the year, right? This is the pivotal year. Dak's pivotal year, Mike McCarthy's pivotal year. It's all got to come together this year. And how is that going to happen?
It's not. It's not. I was just going to tell you, it's not going to happen. You got housed by the NFL.
You start the season out on the road September the 8th in Cleveland, the Tom Brady debut game. I am looking forward to that. I love just seeing the first time out how rocky the start is.
Oh, with Tom Brady?
Some dudes have nailed it, early. Right off, you knew, like Tony Romo. First game I ever saw him do, I went, wow, he's still got some work to do, but this is going to work.
Tony Romo's first season's the best he ever was, and he's gotten slowly worse every single year.
Greg Olsen. I felt like Greg Olsen was like a fish in water when it came into it. I don't feel like he's necessarily gotten much better over the last few years, but he's good.
He's fine. He's a solid 2.
Yeah, Tommy will be interesting to see his debut. But Cowboys open up with the Browns. You got Baltimore in that first stretch of games, Detroit as well. And after the bye week, in week 7, it gets kind of evil. You have to go to San Francisco. You got Philly. You got Houston at home. Which you talk about a team with a chip on their shoulder going into a game. The Houston Texans. From what I've seen on social media, it's nasty right now in the state of Texas between Houston Texans and Dallas Cowboys fans. Because the Texans fans feel like they've arrived, and the Dallas Cowboys fans, well, you know how they deal with controversy. So I feel like
they just randomly say how many Super Bowl rings they have. And if those Super Bowl rings were children, they would be closer to AARP than they were to birth.
And when a new team feels like they're in their league, we all know how Cowboys fans react to that. And so I feel like that's a game that has the temperature turned way up on it.
What was your final record on the Cowboys?
I ended up with the Cowboys being at 8-9.
I wound up with them at the same. They had the same record, and that was beating the Lions. That was beating the Eagles in their house, going to Atlanta and beating them, and you still went 8-9.
Mm-hmm.
This could get ugly. And the question I want to ask you is, how bad does it have to get for Mike McCarthy to get fired in season?
Wow. I don't know that it ever gets that bad.
Okay.
Does the schedule get so imbalanced that they end up starting out like 1-7? I don't, because I think that's the kind of embarrassment that it would take.
Their bye week's in week 7.
Right.
They open at the Browns, which I think you and I are both on the same page that that's a loss.
Yes.
They play the Saints in week 2. They host the Ravens in week 3. Go to the Giants, at the Steelers, and then they host the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
They could go 1-5 in that, and it wouldn't even kind of surprise me.
It would shock me if they didn't win the New Orleans, New York games.
All right, so you're going to New York, which is never easy. And now I have them winning that, and I have them beating the Saints. I have them starting 3-3. But what if they come out and get embarrassed by the Browns, and then were to get beat by New Orleans at home? You got the Ravens coming in the next week, and I got news for you. That ain't going to go your way.
Mm-hmm.
You're sitting at 0-3 with really one winnable game between you and the bye, and that's the Giants. Because I don't see how they're going into Pittsburgh and beating them, and they're just not in the same league as the Detroit Lions.
Mm-hmm.
If you're 1-5 at the bye, do you fire Mike McCarthy?
Yes.
I don't see any way that he wouldn't. I don't see any way that he wouldn't.
So, I mean, I guess it is in the realm of possibilities, but I don't think they'll be. That's worst case scenario. I don't think they would be that bad. I think they keep their record at that, around 500 or just under 500, just to keep the hope alive that maybe they'll hit some good games down the stretch. But the problem is you never get the ability to get that momentum really going because you always hit a roadblock with after Philadelphia, Houston, you go Washington, New York, and then Cincinnati. Then you get Carolina and Tampa Bay, and then at Philly again.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's just no point in the season where you can roll off a lot of wins, and it's going to be tumultuous is the best word that I could come up with for Cowboys fans. And how this narrative is going to go all season long because everything gets magnified with the Dallas Cowboys. You start out 0-3, and it begins or kicks into overdrive, the snowball of, hell no, we're not bringing back Dak Prescott. Are you kidding me? He can't win a regular season game.
That's the point.
We're not. We're moving on from Mike McCarthy. He needs to be fired right now.
That's the point. Dallas, I could argue there was no team maybe in the entire league that more needed the schedule to be backloaded than Dallas because you needed to shut all of those things up. You did this to yourself. You're taking Dak Prescott in as a lame duck quarterback. If you start 3-3, that's not shutting anything up. Not about Dak, not about Mike McCarthy, not about Jerry Jones, and it gets really, really loud. Then you come off a bye at San Francisco. Do you remember what happened the last time they played at San Francisco? Because I do. And if you come out after a bye week and get just scattered, smothered, covered, diced, and chunked, you think it was loud going into the bye? It will be deafening coming out of it.
Mm-hmm. That it will.
It just sets up badly.
Yeah, and what else happens when you continue to lose and you continue to live in this world of negativity, which you will, and then what does that do to Micah Parsons? Right? What does that do to that relationship as that goes forward? Because he's already, I think many people already consider him in malcontent territory.
No doubt.
With his outspoken, podcast and all of that. Not saying that he's said anything outrageous yet, but he's tiptoed that line already. You don't think they start out poorly and he continues to chirp on his podcast how things are going? It could just get real bad. It could snowball in a hurry.
Well, and what snowballs it? What makes it even worse? What if Philadelphia starts really hot? That not make it louder? Have you looked at the first 4 games that Philadelphia plays? Yeah, they play Green Bay in Brazil. They then get an extended long week because they play on Monday night week 2 against the Falcons, the Saints, and the Bucks. At worst, that team's 3-1.
Yes.
At worst. Then they come off a bye at home against Cleveland, a game that, oddly enough, I have them losing. And after that, it's a slew of either winnable games or games that were really set up in the most advantageous way possible.
Mm-hmm. The talent on this team makes you believe that this is a team that can just sweep through any adversity. And there are only a handful of games that should even be questionable. The problem is it's the same way I felt about them last year. I think last year when we did our initial reactions, I think I actually had them like 15-1 or something dumb like that.
Well, they started really hot. It just cratered towards the end.
It did, but even when they started hot last year, it wasn't dominant.
Oh, I was telling anybody that would listen, this is fool's gold.
Right. And then it cratered into the earth. The defense lost whatever it had because it struggled all season long, but it really got bad there toward the end when who was calling the defense? Was Big Dom calling the defense by the end of it?
No, it was Pat Matricia, Bob.
Pat Matricia, that's right.
I guess that's the thing that would scare me to death if I was a Dallas Cowboy fan, is how bad it was last year and how stable you actually were because you had Dak Prescott playing the best football of his life. Mike McCarthy wasn't losing those close games like we're so used to him doing over the course of his career. Philadelphia was imploding, and it was still in doubt going into the last handful of weeks of the season. That would scare me to death because now I'm looking at the talent on that defense going, well, they're more talented than us. I'm looking at their defensive coordinator. They have Vic Fangio. I have Mike Zimmer, of which I get that he was great for you 20 years ago. Awesome. That has Jerry Jones nepotism hire written all over it.
Right.
So I feel like they're more talented. They're going to be better coached. Then I look at the offense. Their offense is better than yours. I have Philadelphia. And I feel like I was hard on Philadelphia because I dislike Sirianni so much. I have them 10-7 and winning this division comfortably.
10-7. All right. You were hard on them.
Well, because Philadelphia loses games that don't make any sense to me. I had them losing to Washington twice. Mainly because every time I see Washington, I go, I don't know why, but Philadelphia is going to lose that. I don't know how they're going to lose that. Doesn't make any sense. But even with that, they're 10-7. 2 losses to – so in my projection, I had them losing to Washington twice. I had them losing another game that was kind of goofy. I had them losing to the Cowboys. I have them losing at home off a bye to Cleveland. They're still 10-7.
Mm-hmm. This is a talent – the level of talent on this team is a 14-win team.
I agree with that.
But your coaching is not going to lead you to that.
Well, and Twiz in our YouTube chat said inexperienced coaching killed us last year. I agree. You don't have that problem anymore. I've got an experienced play caller on the offense who I don't think fits in great with Jalen Hurts, but I think you can figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Defensively, Vic Fangio is probably the best hire you could have made. If you had made the Vic Fangio hire a year ago when you wanted to, I'm not sure you wouldn't have won the division last year. And so I don't like Sirianni, but I don't think he's enough to bridge the gap because there's such a huge talent gap. And the Cowboys got killed in the schedule because they won the division, and the Eagles just limped into second. And so they get all these teams that finished second in the NFC last year. So I see two paths for the NFC East. The Eagles win it close, or the Eagles absolutely dog walk the division and they're playing for nothing in the last 3 weeks of the year.
Yeah. Cleveland, Cincinnati, which is Cincinnati's on the road. They're on the road for the Rams. They're on the road for the Ravens.
Yep.
Those are the 4 games that I look at and go, I think those are definite possibilities that you lose those. Outside of those games, it'll take something weird. This team, to me, is at best 13-4, and at worst, I don't think you can get much below 12-5.
I got to 10-7, and I had to get kind of cute to do it.
I was gonna say, you gotta get real cute in my book to get to that level. But
I mean, if they even split with Washington, I'd have had them at 11-6.
Mm-hmm. Philadelphia, way atop the NFC East next year. Dallas Cowboys, no threat.
In great trouble. We have a
threat.
We have a question in the YouTube comments that I want to I do want to hit before we go to break.
Okay.
It's from Back Satisfied Browns fan, and he asked me, and I'm going to ask you, who do you think will have a better defense, the Browns, the Eagles, or the Jets? I'm going to let you answer that first, and then I'll answer it.
Oh, that's a great question. I'm going to go with the New York Jets. And the reason I'm going with the Jets is because I think it's going to end up being – look, they were already a great defense last year. This is now not too many tweaks have been made on the defense.
Nope.
And this is
you lost Bryce Huff, which hurts, but you replaced him with Hassan Reddick.
Right. You did lose both of the Bryces because you lost Bryce Hall to us.
Woo. Let me just let me go ahead and tell you. If you think Bryce Hall is going to improve anything other than maybe he's a good cook and he will improve the food in your cafeteria, he ain't going to do anything on the field that's going to make you feel warm and fuzzy.
I know that's a joke. That's why I said it. Anyhow, I'm going to go with the Jets being the best because I think they are going to be the most cohesive unit and the most to want to prove that, yeah, that same defense we had last year. Now watch how many games it can win when we have an offense that averages more than 10 points.
I will say the Browns. I would take the Browns defense first because they have both a legit number one corner and a number one edge rusher. I don't feel as great about Hassan Reddick as some other people do. I mean, I think it's fine, and I don't think he's going to be a drop-off from Bryce Huff. I'm just not sure it's the vast improvement that people think. I think the Jets will be better against the run than they were last year. The offense will be better. The thing I keep coming back to is I've seen the Browns do this with virtually no offense. I did not see that Jet defense hold up because it wore down over the course of the year. So it's really I think the Browns and Jets are 1 and 2. I would not have put Philadelphia in that conversation. They have the talent for that, but I'm going to need to see you do it first. They had the talent for it last year, and they were awful. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I could see a path they finish top 5 or 6, but there are a couple other defenses I would have had above Philadelphia. I think the Jets and Browns are 1-2, but I would take the Browns 1 and the Jets 2.
Who would you take over Philly? Just curious.
Defensively?
Mm-hmm.
Kansas City's up there pretty high. The Bears are up there pretty high. I want to say San Francisco, but I can't get it to come out of my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh would be up there pretty high. I love that Pittsburgh defense this year. If Russell Wilson or Justin Fields can give them anything offensively. Baltimore's up there pretty high, but I wouldn't put them above anybody I'm saying here.
Mm-hmm.
Those are probably the I feel like I left somebody out, but I don't know who it is.
It is pretty stacked at the top, obviously. But you didn't say a single team there that I would have over Philadelphia. Not saying that's not close.
Well, you had the 32nd ranked defense in the league last year. So, I mean, that's why I can't just say. Yeah. I mean, Vic Fangio's way different. I understand that. It's also a way different scheme. And you got to remember with Philadelphia, they draft really, really well, but a lot of times those rookies don't impact for half a year.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be up there. I just don't think they're in the same – I don't think anybody's in the same boat with the Jets and the Browns. That's the two best defenses in the league. I'm not sure it's close. Yeah. Then you have 7 or 8 that will round out the top 10 that you could make an argument for any of them.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. The other two teams in the NFC East, well, less to play for, but, hey, maybe at least one of them's got a bright future. We'll talk about the Commanders and the Giants next.
I'm still going for it, even with higher
clear
fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise.
What if you have anal bleeding?
A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk
I wasn't
of
paying
blood clots,
attention
which may
at
cause
all.
paralysis, the inability to move. Or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Bonus bucks. No, not those.
If I wake up and I'm bleeding anally, I'm telling no one.
Bonus bucks.
As you shouldn't. Except a doctor.
Brought to you by Discount Shoes.
Step into savings at Discount Shoes on Brevard Road.
Nope, screw him. He's going to tell all his buddies at the bar.
From sporty sneakers to chic sandals, we've got it all. Hurry in and walk out with a deal that'll have you stepping in style. Discount Shoes, 1255 Brevard Road, Asheville.
Hey there, you in aisle 2. I see you by the fiber and laxatives. You still using those to manage your constipation with belly pain? If your symptoms keep coming back, you may have irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C. So you may need more than over-the-counter treatments to manage it. Ask your doctor about how Linzess can help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
At Ingles, we're proud to work with hundreds of local farms and businesses in the communities we call home. Not only does it ensure that you get top-quality, fresh items for your family table, it's a way for us to support the amazing individuals who pour their heart and soul into delivering the very best they can do. Quality, freshness, community, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
The Sportsocracy.
We're just dumber than a bag of hammers.
All right, bold predictions, winners and losers, all unpacking it all after the NFL schedule release last night. We're chatting up about the NFC East, the Philadelphia Eagles. We've already discussed, and Jeremy and I are on the Philadelphia Eagles by a mile in the NFC East this year. Dallas Cowboys picking up the pieces from a disappointment once again. The other two teams in the East, is there any hope for the Washington Commanders and the New York Giants? Jeremy.
I have the Commanders at 7-10.
Wow. Really? Okay. I'm interested. I'm intrigued because as I went through the games, I couldn't give the confidence that they're going to win a bunch. And by a bunch, I mean more than 4.
Okay, why?
I'm not a Dan Quinn fan. Somebody said in the YouTube comments, there's so many PFF types that are going to be eating their words this year about Dan Quinn's football acumen. You're going to have to prove it to me.
I mean,
I've never seen you be great. Really.
I am a PFF type, and I don't mind the Dan Quinn hire. I didn't love it by comparison of what I thought you were going to do, which is hire Ben Johnson, which I would have felt better about that. Yes, he's a first-time head coach, but he's an offensive guy, and you know how I feel about defensive head coaches.
Mm-hmm.
I just look at Washington. I love Jaden Daniels coming in. I told you throughout the whole draft process, Jaden Daniels is my number 1 quarterback in the class because I think he has the safest floor. I don't see a way that Jaden Daniels comes in and is absolutely awful. I see a way that he comes in and looks like what RG3 could have been.
Mm-hmm.
And that's intriguing to me. I think the offense is better than people think. I think it's going to be hard to defend early. And look, they catch a reasonably favorable schedule early. They play at Tampa Bay in week 1. I have them losing that game, but it wouldn't shock me if they won it. Home for the Giants, that should be a win. You're going to get slaughtered by the Bengals. Wouldn't be shocked if you beat the Cardinals. Browns, Ravens, that's not going to be fun. But then you go Panthers, Bears, Giants, Steelers, Eagles, Cowboys, Titans. There's a lot of toss-up games in there because I do think this team is way better defensively than a lot of other people do. They don't have a name. That's I think the problem that a lot of people have is that they don't have the name edge rusher or the name shutdown corner. I've seen Dan Quinn do this in Atlanta with a defense that was a lot like this. I just get guys that fit my system. We play really good defense. We punch you in the mouth, and we win games. Now, do I think they're a threat to win the division? No, I don't. I think they're a year away from that. They need a year of development out of Jaden Daniels. They need that full-on regression from the Cowboys because the Cowboy roster is still better than them. And I don't think that's spicy. I don't think that's not a shot. It's just the truth.
Right.
You're still very, very young.
My biggest problem with Washington is I'm not sure that defense is going to be really all that good. I think
can it be worse than it was last year?
The front of the defense will be good. The back half is still atrocious. I just don't see it with. I've never seen it with Benjamin St. Juste, Emmanuel Forbes. Last year, all I saw was just a skinny kid who got a lot of pushing around and a lot of flags. I know that's oversimplistic, but
it is.
That was my takeaway with him, and I just don't know that another year of growth is going to help them because your offense is going to have to be good because you're going to be in shootouts. Because anybody that can pass the ball on is going to on you. Maybe the offensive line.
I don't know. To me, all right. So I'm going to say something that's going to sound completely insane, but I really mean it. And I've been asked this question a lot. Who is going to be the Houston Texans of last year? There's only one team that's set up for that, and it's Washington, because they have a lot of talent. It just didn't work with Ron Rivera and Jack Del Rio. Here's the thing. Neither one of those guys are really good coaches. He's just not. Like Ron Rivera has been an overrated, overhyped defensive coach for 15 years. Would it shock me if Dan Quinn got the most out of all these guys they put draft capital in? Nope. And if you pair that with even a competent offense against this schedule, you're going to win some games.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Is
do
Dan
I think
Quinn
you're
really
a threat?
that much better than Ron Rivera?
Oh,
though?
God, yes. Ron Rivera has not had a good defense outside of that Super Bowl year in a decade. They were awful in Washington, and it didn't matter who was on that team. Do you remember how much talent they had when he took that job? Did you ever really fear that defense? No. And guess what? It got worse every single year. That's a sign of a terrible coach. Ron Rivera is probably the most likable guy in the NFL. He's also probably the most overrated coach in the NFL. So Dan Quinn doesn't have to be great. He just has to be better than this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he
is. Pennywise says St. Juice was one of the highest graded corners last year. Is that true?
Depends on what metric you're using. St. Juice is good. I've always liked him.
Is he? Okay.
Now, he's been miscast at times because he is kind of a guy that doesn't really have a position because he's built like an outside corner. And then you see him in the slot and go, but why are you better at that? There are guys like that. They're out there for sure. This was one of the teams that when I got to the end of it, I went, yep, me and Tank are going to disagree about that because he's going to have them at 2-15.
Oh, yeah. I'm not that bad about it, but I did have him with 4 wins, which is more wins than I gave to the New York Giants.
Well, I'll be honest with you about Washington. I don't see them winning less than 6. I could see them winning as many as 9. I have them 5-1 in the division. Now there is some. If you dig a little deeper, you realize that one of them's Week 18 against the Cowboys, who will be putting out an effort that the U.S. government would only be proud of. So that is a little biased, and they do play. They play somebody off the bye. I don't have it pulled up right now. But quickly, we do have to do the Giants, and I say quickly because they don't deserve much more than that.
I got the Giants at 2 wins this year, and I feel like I pushed it. I don't see it with this team.
I never have teams with 2 wins, just to be clear. I find a win for.
I think they're the worst team in the league, the least talented team in the league, and they've got a nightmare scenario with their coach and their quarterback.
You're not going to get much pushback on the Giants from me. I do find it funny that for me, the 5 worst teams in the NFL play Week 1, and one of them has to be 1-0.
Mm-hmm. The Giants could start out 2-0. And I still don't like your chances all that much of winning more than that.
God, you actually think they could go into Washington and beat Washington?
I'm just saying it's in the realm of possibilities.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Because you're definitely not winning the next ones, in my opinion.
And you're going to get slaughtered in most of them.
You're going to get killed by Dallas both times you play them. At Cleveland, no shot. Cincinnati, where's the mercy rule? Philadelphia is going to hurt your feelings two times in a row this year. You got to go to Pittsburgh. Hate that for you. You got to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. No chance to win that game. Baltimore Ravens, no chance. The Colts. It's every team outweighs you in every aspect.
I have the Giants.
You're not better than anybody at anything.
I have the Giants 1-9 going into the bye, which is in Week 11. They win 3 in the last, 7? I have them beating the Saints in New York solely because it's the Saints outside. I never love that. I have them catching the Falcons with one of those. Can you really believe they won this game? Because Atlanta is eliminated from the playoffs that week. And then I have them beating the Colts, who would be eliminated at that point, too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but even those, I had to get cute. I had to get cute and really think about, okay, write the narrative. I think I do that more than you do. If I get to Week 16 and I start looking at, okay, I feel like I've clicked the other button a lot when I see the Atlanta Falcons. And if they're eliminated from playoff contention, I could easily see a path where the Giants come in and just boop.
Yep.
We have our second super chat of the day, and it's about the New York Football Giants. Yeah! It's from our buddy Soaring Eagle. Fact or fiction, Brian Daboll is literally a dead man walking right now. Fact.
Fact.
Can I give you a conspiracy theory on that?
Mm-hmm.
They were stuck with Daniel Jones. That's the only reason he's still employed right now.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. He was NFL Coach of the Year 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. It went so poorly last year. He butted heads with Wink Martindale, who is now out of the building. And if they had access to a quarterback, they knew they didn't. They knew it was going to go 1, 2, 3 because that was a poorly kept secret that I just didn't want to believe. And they weren't in love with J.J. McCarthy. They never were in love with J.J. McCarthy. And so they knew. There's no path that we can implement the quarterback. We'll give Daniel Jones another ride. Daboll will be the sacrificial lamb. And away we go.
Mm-hmm.
There was a rolling post about Brian Daboll on, I can't remember the message board that I saw it on. It was a Jets board because I love to troll the fans of my own team. Mm-hmm. They were talking about how Brian Daboll atrophies poorly everywhere he goes. That the first year he's always good. The second year you see what he really is. And then the third year is kind of the pivot point. And usually he bounces to another job after that. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think he's still a fine coach he tied himself to Daniel Jones. And that's what you get.
Yeah.
You know, in the NFL, coaches and quarterbacks are like husbands and wives. And I got news for you. If you marry a bank robber, don't be shocked when everybody in town looks at you sideways.
Mm-hmm. It's a bad idea to saddle a new coach with the new quarterback. So when you sign Daniel Jones to the 2-year extension that you did 2 years ago, you knew you were going to get Brian Daboll for this long. Here's the problem. Brian Daboll knew that my future is now tied to Daniel Jones. Problem is Daniel Jones got hurt last year, and he wasn't great when he did play. He needs to have the best season of his life this year, stay healthy, and even if he leads the Giants to a 7-win season, is that anything to write home about? Is that enough to save Brian Daboll's job?
If the New York Giants win 7 games against this schedule, they should knight him. They should call the Pope and get him to the Vatican and divine him as a saint. Because it's not physically possible. I mean, to find me 7 wins on that schedule that don't just... I got to 4 and had to have them beating the Saints.
Yeah, well, I mean...
And the Colts.
You got to get special. You got to go Colts and Saints and... Reds or that team that you're not supposed to say.
You hadn't done that in a long time.
I haven't done that in a long time. You got the Panthers in there. I mean, you got to stretch it to get to 7. But I'm saying even best case scenario, Daniel Jones has the year of his life, and they do end up winning 7 games. That's still not enough to save Brian Daboll. That's the problem.
I don't think it's enough to save him either. The problem, and I was going to say this when you said that Daboll tied his future to Daniel Jones, is yes, Daboll's future is tied to Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones' future is tied to which insurance agency decides to hire him 2 years from now. Is it Allstate? Is it Geico? Who knows? Daniel Jones selling it near you soon.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Continuing to break down the schedule release after this.
This is your Exergen Temporal
Clear
on ESPN Asheville.
Thank you.
Great-looking afternoon.
And Saints fans, I'm not saying I actually believe they would beat you. I don't have anybody winning 2 games. That was one of those games that you're at home and I could at least justify it.
Clear. Some fog late, mid-50s. And a chance of a shower tomorrow morning. Better chance. It's actually pretty good chance in the afternoon. Scattered showers.
Oh, they'll beat you by 50 because the Saints suck. Screw the Saints.
Their channel operation.
Did that make you feel better?
This report is
not really. I just wanted to say it because I knew it'd piss them off.
the parts and accessories to keep your ride summer road trip ready.
Danny Finsfan asked if we saw the new Giants uniforms.
Use promo.
Good God, they're terrible.
$1 or more.
They look like
offer ends June 2nd.
It looks like something a really dumb 8-year-old would have made on Madden.
The proud owner and operator.
Yeah. Like the one that ate glue until he was in the 7th grade.
Small businesses in Western North Carolina. The Carpet Bar.
That's Michigan America University. Red, white, and blue, baby, and them cool little helmets.
Visit us at the Carpet Barn. Explore our
My girlfriend loves them. She's on vacation right now with her family, so you can't meet her.
Little swoopty-woos they put on their head like the college kids wear.
May 19th, it's a 15K and a 5K at the beautiful Biltmore Estate. Participants will enjoy a beautiful run on the grounds of the estate, plus a race t-shirt, finisher medal, entry to the estate.
How many monsters does it take for me to get through this day without taking a nap?
Club of Asheville.
I don't know, but I wish to God I had one.
KiwanisClassic.com.
I mean, if we had like a tube, I'd send you one because I have 4.
By iHeartMedia Asheville.
Saturday, June 1st, the Orange Peel presents Striper.
Hey, there's one in the fridge. I'm stealing it.
Get your tickets
There was one in the fridge?
online at the Orange Peel.
Yes, sir.
What kind?
Purple.
Enjoy it, sir.
Don't miss Striper live.
Appreciate you.
I would have bet $500 there were no monsters in that fridge.
At Ingles, weather.
I would have too, and then I just went, you know what, I'm going to look.
Basketball games.
I'm glad that worked out for you. That means I'm going to put one of these back for in the morning, and hopefully my heart won't explode.
It's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
If cleanly, yeah, certainly wouldn't do all 4 of them.
Right now.
Well, I'm already on 2.
Look, life comes at you.
And the third one is looking, it's looking right for love, Tank.
Showroom floor. You should probably slow your roll before you have a coronary. Disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior.
The fact I'm alive right now is a medical marvel.
And they do wax and.
I love you, Colin.
The Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
If you're looking to buy,
Colin, there is no video of them touching tips. It was not from lack of effort from Tank. It was more the security team around Mike McDaniel.
ClarissaSellsWNC.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Homes.
I love how this keeps growing. Like, pretty soon it's going to be Tank was passing love letters to Mike McDaniel in the bar.
I mean, he was. We didn't tell him the whole story.
Him for his phone number, and it was really uncomfortable.
Or
you totally did that.
WNC@gmail.com.
The Sportsocracy. We treat star athletes better because they're better people.
That's not fair.
Life isn't fair, kiddo. Get used to it.
It is ESPN Asheville. This is the Sportsocracy. We're breaking down the NFL schedule. The NFC side, we'll break down the AFC schedules tomorrow.
In the break on the YouTube channel.
Thoughts on your team, you can weigh in on the YouTube channel. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click that live video link, subscribe to the channel. Join us in the chat. At the end of the last hour, we added another game to the reveal of our Live in the Dream tour. We're hitting the road with Ingles Markets this fall to hit, well, just about every stadium in America. Well, not in America, but at least in the Southeast footprint. And we will be in Chapel Hill September the 21st, James Madison at the North Carolina Tar Heels. We'll have another release of another game coming up in just a few moments.
I mean, I feel like since you teased it that way, we might as well just go ahead and do it now.
Oh, you want to do it now? Okay,
yeah.
Go ahead and do it now. Let me.
Hey, where's my music?
Second. I'm working on it.
Hey.
Yeah, give me a minute to switch the page to the end. Well, oh, goodness.
Let's go, baby! October 5th, Clemson Tigers at my Florida State Seminoles. I'm back, baby. Doak Campbell Stadium, and I'm bringing buddies.
Very, very cool. Tallahassee, Florida, a place that I've always heard is a place you need to see a game.
Oh, I can't wait to take you to this place. I've been there. It's been a while. I absolutely love it down there. You're going to get to meet some some people who are a little out of their mind. But the good thing is that you'll be with somebody that's wearing the same colors they are, which helps. Right. And I'm coming to Tallahassee to kick keister and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum.
Awesome. Clemson at Florida State on October the 5th. We'll have another game announcement at the end of the next hour, and then tomorrow during the AFC coverage of our schedule breakdown, we will reveal the second half of the schedule because, yeah, we've only heard half of it.
We've only just begun, and there's some things on the right side of that schedule that you're going to go, really? The goodest stuff is still blurred out.
The goodest, he said.
That's what I said.
Just so everybody heard it.
Clearly.
All right, let's continue with the schedule breakdowns. Hopping over to NFC West.
Did you have anything in this division, or was it just me? Anything, like when you got to the end and you looked at the standings in the NFC West, did you go, I did not know that about myself?
No, I did not.
I did
not. I went in thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, and I came out with, yep, that's how it came down. Niners, Rams, Seahawks, Cardinals in the basement.
I went in thinking, I like the Cardinals better than most.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure that there's a lot of wins on that schedule just because they drew a really, really ugly straw schedule-wise. I don't know that I've ever seen a team that finished that bad wind up with a schedule that ugly. What caught me off guard was who wound up at the top of this division when she was all said and done, because it wasn't the San Francisco 49ers.
Oh, you got the Rams winning, huh?
I do. I have the Rams 12-5 as the 2 seed in the NFC.
Okay. I dig it. All right. I mean, it's a little spicy, if you ask me. I mean, I ended up with San Francisco as the 3, and L.A. was the 6. Why do you think L.A. takes the step forward?
Well, I love what they've done to add talent to this team. And you know me. At the end of the day, what are the 3 questions that I'm always going to ask when it comes to who's going to win a football game?
Oh, yeah. You got the coach, you got the quarterback, and you got who's at home.
Well, I'm better than you damn near all the time at the first 2. And I'm at home half the time. So, I mean, look, I always go back to our buddy Jake Ellenbogen that was telling us last year, this Rams team is better than you think, and we flat out made fun of him.
Mm-hmm.
We went Homer, and he was right. And they're exponentially better now than they were last year.
Yes. Now you have a team that has proven that they have a new stud receiver to go along with the old stud receiver that they have.
And they probably just drafted another one. Jordan Whittington somehow is probably going to become a Pro Bowler this year, too.
Oh, is he?
I don't know why, and I don't know how, but I didn't know it with Puka Nacua either.
The old quarterback that we thought was broken last offseason ended up not being broken. And so you can't really doubt that going into this year. They didn't have a running game. Oh, they found that at the end of the year with Kyron Williams.
Mm-hmm.
And now they just brought in Blake Corum to share touches and add a little, spell back to that, which I thought was a really great move.
Oh, and by the way, your line went from your biggest deficiency 2 years ago to maybe your biggest strength.
Has it gotten that much better?
It's really good. I'll be honest with you. I didn't even really realize how good it was with the Jonah Jackson addition and everything they've done up and down that line. Steve Avila that they took with their first pick in the second round last year.
Right.
I love everything the Rams are doing. This is, I mean, I hate to say it because they were the falafel them picks team and I'm the draft guy.
Mm-hmm.
But all those picks they traded, they've come out clean on the other side. They went Andy Dufresne of the Shawshank draft prison.
They have, but the defense is young, and I mean, at least in the front, it's very young, and it's very versatile. And I know losing Aaron Donald sucks. You're never going to replace that guy, but I think they've done it well.
Braden Fiske is a nice start.
Mm-hmm. I think they've added enough pieces that between the unit as a whole, they've kind of mitigated that as best that they can. Anyway, the Jared Verse pick is still just nanners to me. I mean, it's that good.
I agree. Look, I mean, I told you he was my favorite edge rusher in the class. So, and Braden Fiske was one of my favorite. I thought he was going to be a hidden gem, and then he went to the Senior Bowl, and I went, well, looks like somebody found it. So I'm not going to be the only one on this bandwagon.
Yeah, no, Los Angeles Rams, I got them at number 2 in the division, easily making a playoff game.
What do you have the record at?
I have them at 11-6.
So basically you and I just flipped the 49ers and the Rams.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which means we probably the entire difference in what we did is that I have the Rams sweeping the 49ers.
Yes, I definitely do not have that. I always give them the game at home. That's one of those series that I always split that series because the Rams always play San Francisco tough, home or away. Could they sweep them? Yeah. Have they swept them before? Absolutely. What was the year they beat them in the playoffs? Didn't they meet up in the NFC Championship game and one of them had swept the other one in the regular season? The other one won the playoff game.
Yes.
I think that was when San Francisco went to the Super Bowl and lost a couple of years ago. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that was the Super Bowl year for the Rams. Anyway.
I have the Rams going 8-1 at home.
That seems aggressive.
I mean, it is, but look at who they play at home. So, I mean, they play the 49ers, the Packers, the Raiders, the Vikings, the Dolphins, which is the one loss that I have them taking. That turf with that speed against a defense that young. Philadelphia, Buffalo, the Cardinals, and the Seahawks.
Well, Philadelphia,
I like 'em.
Yeah, Philadelphia, Miami, Green Bay, San Francisco. Those are all potential loss games.
No doubt.
But 8-1 would be aggressive. I think they're going to go better on the road because I just don't see that it's that difficult. I mean, aside from going to San Francisco and New York back-to-back late in the season, you can win all the rest of those games.
And the funny thing is I have them winning both of those.
Do you?
I have them beating San Francisco and beating the Jets.
If they do that, they're undefeated on the road.
I have them losing at Seattle and at the Bears.
Yeah.
And at the Lions.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that opening game of the year. We got such a good matchup out of that last year.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to be insane. There's a possibility that could be as good as the Chiefs-Lions opener was last year.
Very well could be.
And we all remember how that game went down. All right, close up on the top of the hour break here. I don't want to dive into another team.
Oh, we could do one of the bad teams in this division, which is...
we want to do one of the bad ones?
Yeah, let's do the Cardinals
then. Because the Cardinals are the bad team in the division.
Well, I mean, the Cardinals to me, they just got screwed. I mean, look at this was one of the worst teams in the NFL last year. And they start in Buffalo. They host the Rams. They host the Lions. They host the Commanders. So you will have started with 3 of your first 4 games at home, and you could easily be 0-4. Then you go 2 San Francisco and 2 Green Bay. How in the world do you expect a young team to rally after that? I thought they got housed. And it's not like it gets all that much better because they play the Chargers, and then you go at the Dolphins, Bears, Jets.
There you go. Keep going. Then after the bye, you got at Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got no break.
No.
In any of that schedule.
It is an evil
Now,
schedule.
It was going to be tough anyway.
Yes.
It was going to be a tough schedule anyway. I don't know how else you could have stacked it to make it better. I mean, if you'd have got New England and Carolina mixed in there somewhere into the early front load, maybe it would have been a little better, but I still don't see you as a team that's ready just yet to compete with the better teams. And you got a lot of them on your schedule.
Oh, I mean, they're not. This is a young team. This is going to be a developmental year. My only hope is that they get better over the course of the year and that you don't start getting antsy with Jonathan Gannon, because I do think he's the right coach. This is I can't even fault you. You're bringing a knife to a gunfight 8 out of 10 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because some of these games, you're not just going to get beat. You're going to get shellacked. And there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, I'm looking at the 14 teams I had making the playoffs. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You play 6 of them in the first 10 weeks. And the vast majority of them are at home.
Mm-hmm. No favors in the schedule, and a roster that's still being put together to compete and gel together. To me, that's more along the lines of a 4-win team. I thought I'd be higher on them than that.
I had them at 5, and I had to even get a little cute with that.
Yep. You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. Continue breaking down the NFL schedules in the NFC next.
Glory to the...
Clear.
Help celebrate this beloved favorite at ABL Food Series' next event, Wing Wonderland. This May 18th at the Mule at Devil's Foot Brewing. Local area chefs will showcase their yummiest wings. You can wash them down with Devil's Foot beverages, cocktails, and beer. Wing Wonderland has free games for kids, live music, and more for grown-ups. It's a wing-ding you'll remember. Get tickets and find out more at ShayBrownEvents.com. That's ShayBrownEvents.com.
Hey, it's Mark Starling from First News on 570, and I've been going to Summit Dental in Asheville with Dr. Chad Reinhardt for years. They're fantastic, but you don't have to take my word for it. Check out some of these 5-star reviews from Google. After searching for a dentist for months, I finally found this place. I needed some serious dental work, and they got me in within a week. If you're anxious about going to the dentist, I assure you this is the place that can give you a new outlook on having dental work done. They're upfront, honest, and caring people who only want the best for their patients. You gotta check out Summit Dental in Asheville with Dr. Chad Reinhardt, home of the Comfort Menu.
Get ready for our iHeartRadio album release party with Cage the Elephant.
Hey everyone, we're Cage the Elephant. We'll be performing songs this, the iHeartRadio album release party with us, Cage the Elephant, in celebration of our new album, Neon Pill.
Monday, May 20th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific.
Watch in VR, only in Meta Horizon Worlds.
This is the absolute worst time of the year to be dealing with joint pain. You can't do the outdoor stuff you love to do. Hiking, jogging, biking, playing on the beach. Listen, don't go through the summer missing out on life. Call QC Kinetics now and find out how they can use biologics from your own body to give new life to your achy joints, knees, hips, back, and shoulder. QCS regenerative medicine protocols can restore and repair that damaged tissue with no surgery, no steroids, no drugs, no downtime. This is the future of medicine. Tens of thousands of QC Kinetics patients around the country are living their best life this year because they made the call. QC medical professionals are under the direction of Dr. Mitchell Shinecup, who was an orthopedic surgeon who became a true pioneer in regenerative medicine. He knew there had to be a better way. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation. Revolutionary treatments for joint pain are here. Call 828-333-9517 in Asheville and Greenville. That's 828-333-9517 in Asheville and Greenville.
When the flowers come into bloom, it is like a field of dreams. Hi, I'm Belinda Smith. My husband Russ and I own Briar Hill Farm in Pickens, South Carolina. Ingles has really brought awareness to locally grown flowers. And they've made it convenient for customers to be able to purchase local flowers, and customers realize the advantage of local flowers being fresher and lasting longer.
We're
back, counting down to kickoff. Let's look at today's 3 keys to premium pre-gaming with Beast Unleashed, presented by Monster Brewing. Number 1, beat the heat.
Unleash the beast with bold, familiar flavors, 0 caffeine, and 0 sugar.
Number 2, running the option.
There's 4 to choose from: White Haze, Peach Perfect, Scary Berries, and my personal favorite, Mean Green.
And number 3, at 6% ABV, Max Protect.
Always drink responsibly, and you must be 21 or over.
Beast Unleashed, available at your local retailer.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Great looking afternoon, but do not get used to this, because once I give you enough rope, I'm going to yank it back as the showers, thunderstorms return as quickly as tomorrow. 75 sunny degrees today. Tonight, clear with some fog late, mid-50s. And a chance of a shower tomorrow morning. Better chance, actually pretty good chance in the afternoon. Scattered showers, thunder, 75. And shower storms still in the weekend forecast. From the Weather Channel, I'm Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Summit Racing Equipment.
Summit Racing has the parts and accessories to keep your ride summer road trip ready. Choose from millions of parts in stock. Shop summitracing.com. Use promo code RADIO for $10 off an order of $100 or more. Exclusions apply. Offer ends June 2nd, 2024.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ.
Got a 1-minute spot here.
Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3.
Then the cue to call, then the open.
Better than
Stand for.
warfarin. And over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if
Oh boy.
or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection
Oh
while on
my.
Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical
This is
or
the only
dental
commercial
procedures.
before
Learn
the
more
cue to
at
call, right?
Eliquis.com or call 1-8.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, bank. That's bank. Enter it now.
Log on now to ESPNAVL.com.
The Sportsocracy.
Fires me up, man. I love it. Say it one more time.
The Sportsocracy.
Shake it back!
Beer City's best sports talk.
It is gross.
Just earlier.
They are mature, actually. You just have to get to know them better.
Your lunchtime dose of dumbassery. Live from the Ingles studio.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy is live at the Ingles studio, and we are heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app, seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel. That way you can join us in the chat. You can, take exception to things that we say about your team. You would like. Saints fans not happy that I talk smack about the Saints, but I am a Buccaneers fan, so I feel like that's kind of in the title of I have to talk smack about your team. It is what it is. It's like Jeremy talking smack about the Patriots. It's going to happen. Not today though, because we're doing the NFC schedule breakdown here in the Sportsocracy. AFC breakdowns will be coming up for you tomorrow.
And then I go into the salty darkness.
The salty darkness.
Yeah, this year the darkness retreats at the beach.
Yeah.
Look, my wife and I waited a whole year to take our honeymoon. So, okay. I feel like I have fulfilled my commitment. I need to see the water.
Yes. Yes, you have. You've earned it. There will be a little vacation here for Jeremy next week. We'll have Chris Womack, sports director of News 13. He'll be filling in for Jeremy on Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Those will be our only live shows due to baseball and the holiday weekend. Tank's going to take a little extra day on Friday.
You will not notice much of a difference with me gone. When Tank is gone later in the summer, things could get a little sideways. Commercials are going to be much more sparse. I'll tell you that much.
That they could be. Continuing to break down the schedule here. Release was last night. The only team in the NFC West that we haven't talked about yet, the Seattle Seahawks. And this was the division where I got done with the knee-jerk reaction, picking the games, every game, every week. And when I got done, I looked at the NFC West, and I was surprised that I was this high on the Seattle Seahawks. I had kind of talked myself into maybe this could be a down year, right? They're going to finish just outside of the playoff position. Lo and behold, I ended up with them being 7 seed, wild card team at 10-7. How did you feel about them?
We also have to talk about the 49ers, just to be clear. But
oh, my bad. I thought we had already done that.
I have them tied for the 7th spot. They lose the tiebreaker to the Chicago Bears. So I had them 9-8, and for me, I was never down on them. That my thing is not that I'm down on Seattle. Mm-hmm. I am down on your quarterback. I've been down on your quarterback for a pretty good long little while. But I mean, I think Seattle has a really good future. You're just missing that one piece.
And do they have the piece in Sam Howell? And do they pull the trigger on starting Sam Howell at some point?
At some point, I find that to be very likely. Unfortunately, I'm not sure that it's going to be early enough. I mean, look, Seattle's schedule is about what you would think it would be for a team that finished where they did. You've got some games that are pretty evil, and then you've got some cupcakes. And you get a couple cupcakes early on in the schedule.
Mm-hmm. You get a chance to start out really, really well with Denver at New England. And then you got Miami and Detroit, which are going to be tough games. But I don't feel like either of those games are unwinnable.
Beating Detroit in Detroit's going to be difficult.
We saw them push Detroit last year.
Did. Pushed them to overtime.
So, yeah, exactly. Keeping up with Miami is going to be tough. Then you got the Giants, Niners, Falcons, Bills, Rams. I feel like you got a chance to go into the bye week. I mean, 6-4. Is that out of the realm of possibility?
I would say that's too high.
Too high?
I would say if you go into the bye week, because they would be 6-3. If you go into the bye week, 5-4, you should be really happy. Because you've got a game, you got San Francisco coming to your house. You got to go to Detroit. You host Miami. You've got Buffalo and the Rams. You would have to win one of those to be 5-4. And I like you said, I think you have the ability to win any of them. The question is, which ones will you win?
Right.
What did you have them winning of those? Because I had them beating Miami. I remember that specifically. Because I pined over that game, and it kind of finally fell into it could be raining in Seattle, and anything that slows down speed has been kryptonite to Miami, and they don't beat good teams.
Yeah. No, you remember that thing we said I'd love to have a team-by-team breakdown of this schedule predictor that we used? Yeah, I would love to have that right now.
I'm doing one of those as we go along. That's the beauty of having two screens, Tank.
Yeah, but it does. And I tried to do that and then got halfway through it and it crapped out on me again.
Of course it did.
I don't like that. I don't like that website.
Anyhow. Have you ever heard the term operator error?
I know you like to you like to use that term for me a lot.
Anything that has a keyboard, if Tank touches it, before you throw it out and just say, "Oh, it's broken," maybe unplug it and plug it back in. That's because that's what he always tells me to do.
That's the only way to fix it, and it fixes the problem more times than not, doesn't it?
It irritates me so badly. We had an issue on the setup in Mullet Manor Was it day before yesterday? And the actual solution was to unplug it and plug it back in. And I got so angry 5 minutes before the camera turned on.
Just let it reset itself. Somehow that always works. I think Seattle's got a great chance at a playoff spot here because, I mean, while the back half of that schedule doesn't look great with 49ers and Jets road trips and a road trip to the Bears and a road trip to the Rams, those are real tough, but I feel like those other games are winnable. Arizona, Minnesota. Green Bay is still one of those teams that I feel like they're going to be in a lot of close games, and there's going to be coin flips. And I feel like that's a winnable game for Seattle.
Well, the thing about Seattle is that they're going to have to win practically all of the real coin flip games, and they're going to have to steal a game that I would say they're a dog in. And I couldn't get there. The Bears' schedule is so much easier than theirs, and then they win the tiebreaker because for me they beat them head to head. But there's a great shot that game week 17 in Chicago, Thursday night football. I'm not gonna say it's an elimination game, but there's a great chance it's a control your own destiny game. Of whoever wins that controls the path to the 7th seed.
It very well could. San Francisco 49ers. My predicted champion for the NFC West this year. I'm still real high on this team. I know we've talked about how there are some pieces missing from previous seasons' teams that have gone deep into the playoffs. But I feel like the framework is still there. And I still feel like they're the class of this division. I ended up with them being at 13-4.
I have them at 11-6.
11-6. Right,
I have them 11-6, and they're 8-1 at home.
Laid out that favorably for the home schedule?
Well, I don't think San Francisco's as good as everybody else does. They play 7 playoff teams for me. They're 7-1 against teams with losing records. They're 4-5 against winning teams. I have them beating Minnesota. The Jets are really one of their only high water wins because I do have them winning that game week 1, and I could easily see that going the other way. Mm-hmm. The only game they lose at home is to the Rams. And that's wins over the Cowboys and the Chiefs, and it's a tough schedule, as well it should be. San Francisco, to me, is death by 1,000 paper cuts. You lose the players just slowly. It's never the Fred Warner or the guy on the marquee. But you get bled every year, losing coaches and guys out of the front office. And then you start seeing it at the draft because now 3 years in a row, it's actually 4 years in a row now, we have walked away from the draft and gone, what are you doing? And just name me the last player outside of Brock Purdy that they drafted that was a real hit. And why was it Brandon Ayuk?
Yep.
Outside of that, all of these guys, Hufanga, that's the real right answer. But in large part,
he's the only late round hit that they've had.
In large part, they got all these picks for losing these coaches, and they got nothing for them. And it's going to affect you at some point. And I think this is the year. And now when I say affect you, I don't think they're the best team in the NFC. I don't think they're the best team in the NFC or in the NFC West. I think they're going to be on the road for the playoffs, and I think they get beat in the first round. Brock Purdy is not an elite quarterback, and that's not even really it. When you've got an elite, no-doubt defense, you can do that. Did anybody stand up to defend the 49ers when we were talking about best defenses in the NFL earlier?
No.
No. Because they don't belong there. Because now you're on your third defensive coordinator in 3 years. And I just don't think you can continue to win that way. Mm-hmm. Brock Purdy's not good enough if your defense is an elite, and I just don't see that defense as elite, especially with Dre Greenlaw going to miss the beginning of the year.
How long's he out for?
I haven't seen a definitive timetable, but the last I saw was pretty definitive that he was not going to be around for the first handful of games. Probably starts on the PUP list, honestly.
Okay. So that's at least 4.
6.
Or is that rule still in place?
Is it 4 or 6? I thought it was 6.
Oh, maybe it is 6. Either way, could be a chunk of the early part of the season that he misses. I get what you're saying about the team, the defense not being on that elite level, but I don't feel like they're far off. They're in the top of the second tier of defenses in this league. I mean, talent-wise, and they're always well coached. Who's taking over now? Is it just another named? Is this the 4th option down the line? Or did they find somebody wonderful?
Nick Sorensen.
Nick Sorensen. Is that Daniel Sorensen's brother?
No.
It's only Sorensen.
He was already on the staff. He was the passing game coordinator.
Okay. So just promoting from within again.
Well, it's not Steve Wilkes, so for me that's an improvement. But I said this through free agency is, man, it seems like you're losing a lot, and you're adding a lot of Leonard Floyd or Yetur Gross-Matos, and you can only play this game so long where you draft so well that your team gets pilfered over. You better keep drafting well if that's the way your roster is going to work, and they're not.
Yeah.
They've wasted a lot of draft capital, a large chunk of it on Trey Lance, and that starts to affect the depth of your team. They've had 1 billion picks, and probably half of them have been complete misses.
Ricky Pearsall was the first pick this year, which kind of made me scratch my head. I'm not going to lie.
I wasn't shocked. I was shocked who he went over.
This seems to be the year that Drake Jackson's going to have to step it up on the defensive line. Right, with the attrition that you've been talking about, Drake Jackson was a second-round pick from 3 years ago?
Yes.
And has he really played a factor at all?
He has been good at times when he's been on the field. Snap count's always been low. So I don't know. I loved him coming out.
Something happens to Leonard Floyd, who I feel like he's 80 years old at this point.
He's not.
He's only 31, but he's been around for a while. Team hopped a bunch. You got to have somebody start stepping up on the second level. Health is critical with this team.
San Francisco's the one team that I think has Super Bowl aspirations that if you're not careful, I mean, just look at the second string of the San Francisco 49ers. I'm trying to find a guy that's not a rookie that could make a roster anywhere else. And it gets really difficult to do.
Yes.
I think the line is flat out bad in places. And if you start going through the injury bug, may God have mercy on your soul. You'll get Brock Purdy killed. They've been real fortunate with injuries outside of a little bit to Bosa, predominantly to Debo and Kittle. Outside of that, the depth pieces, they have been super fortunate over the last handful of years. You have one of those Kyle Shanahan, holy crap, they're starting CJ Beathard years.
Jeremy's on the Rams to win this division. I'm on San Francisco to win it. I have 3 playoff teams from this division. You have 2. You had Seattle missing the playoffs. Is that what you said?
Yes, they were the first team out.
The first team out.
And San Francisco was the first wild card team.
Yep. I got them as the last team in. 3 teams from this division. And, well, there's another division that could have 3 teams in the playoffs.
I have them with 3 teams.
It's the NFC North. We'll talk about the North coming up next here on ESPN Asheville and the Sportsocracy.
Wendy's new Cinnabon Pull-Apart is here to
You're clear.
with its warm, sweet cinnamon
Thank
sugar
you.
rolled dough, gooey texture, and
We got a
signature
super
cream
chat
cheese
coming back,
frosting.
by the way.
Get the best part in every bite this morning with Wendy's new Cinnabon Pull-Apart. Only at participating U.S. Wendy's.
Tuesday, July 30th, Orange Peel event. At the Orange Peel.
Yeah, I think so.
It was. So what changed your mind after you were making fun of me for having seen them 6 times?
I don't know. The more I heard this commercial, I was just like, you know what? That might be fun. Turn the clock back 20 years.
I have a story from one of my Chevelle Show concert ventures. I just need to make sure there's no chance that my wife ever hears it. We need to put that one behind a paywall.
And over 97 not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurs.
I am afraid to even ask.
2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis.
You ever do things in a place where you're not supposed to do them?
Eliquis can cause eating.
Oh, Tao, we're sorry. He's like, damn it, I move, and Chevelle comes to town. Yep.
Well, Chevelle came to town like once a year back in the day.
Injection while on
Did they?
I think I saw them at the Orange Peel like 3 out of 5
right
years.
away for unexpected or tingling, numbness, or muscle.
Was this during the run or was this post years?
Oh, yeah, this was during the run.
SNRIs
I saw him with Seven Dust, and I specifically remember looking at the lead singer going, bro, how old are you?
Or call 1-855-L.
I think I saw him on that same tour.
Teamed up under new ownership.
That was one guy that I looked at and went, did you shoehorn yourself into your pants, or did you just grease your legs up to get in those? Because it wasn't just leg in, pull up. I promise you.
Seven Dust guy?
Yeah.
These are engraving.
Oh, yeah.
Free personal delivery within Buncombe County.
That was the grossest experience I've ever been to a show.
Sports.
I was on the front row. I saw him at a place called the Plex in Charleston. And this place was a reformed or a rebuilt movie theater. And so the floor sloped down to the stage to where when he leaned out over the crowd, he was on me. And this was like, 7 songs in, and he's got a good lather on. And I felt like Ben Stiller in that movie where he was playing basketball and the guy just went sweat up his face and back down. Ugh. It was disgusting.
I think
what the better part of it was that he realized what he had just done, because when he stood back up, he saw me like gagging and then poured water on my head. I was like, thank you. Appreciate you.
3 keys to premium pre-gaming with Beast Unleashed, presented by Monster Brewing. Number 1, beat the heat.
Unleash the beast with bold, familiar flavors, 0 caffeine. And
Yeah,
0
my
sugar.
last I think Seven Dust was my last Chevelle experience.
White haze, each perfect, scary berries.
And there was a girl that got up on the shoulders of the dude next to me, and she wanted people to see her bazoombas more than we wanted people to see this show. I don't think anybody in that building walked away and hadn't seen them.
The Sportsocracy.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
Back in the Sportsocracy, ESPN Asheville, the NFL schedule breakdown, or NFC schedule breakdown, I guess I should say. We're going to do the AFC teams tomorrow, going division by division here. We're on the NFC North. 3 potential playoff teams in this division. Would have sounded crazy a year ago, but oh my, how things can change. As Chicago has loaded up with talent around their new number 1 draft pick rookie quarterback, Caleb Williams. You have the Green Bay Packers making the leap with Jordan Love last year. And, of course, the Detroit Lions paying off on the hype that we had for them last year, almost making it to a Super Bowl. I mean, 1/2 away from making it to a Super Bowl. And this year, the favorite, or one of the favorites anyway, as far as Vegas is concerned, to make it out of the NFC and be the representative in this year's Super Bowl.
Who do you have winning this? You have Detroit winning this division?
Yes, they are my number 2 overall seed in the playoffs with a 13-4 record.
They are my 1 seed in the NFC with a 12-5 record.
The hopes are high. Everybody's back again. Oh, and you've added.
You've added a lot. I mean, you have a completely...
What's your favorite addition?
Well, the fact that you just overhauled the secondary. I mean, now, the thing that would bother me is that all of these dudes can't really give you high-level contributions, but you're going to have a solution in there somewhere. I don't know what it is, but there's a solution there somewhere.
The pickup of Carlton Davis. I know I dismissed that with Tampa, but I mean, it is an improvement for the Detroit secondary. I like the fact that you went out and you took the chances in the draft with Arnold and Rakestraw. It's the one thing that was holding you back last year. Jared Goff just got a, $53 million a year extension.
A gajillion dollar deal.
Yeah, yes, he did. We didn't really talk about that when it happened because I think we were off.
We were.
The day after that news came out. I mean, were you disgusted by that?
Nope.
I wasn't either. I mean, I know it sounds weird to say that Jared Goff is the number 2 highest paid quarterback per year in the NFL behind Joe Burrow, but I'm not sure that their impacts for their team are all that different.
All right, so why is that off-putting to hear? Take the Rams days out of it. What he's done in Detroit, why is that off-putting?
I mean, if you're looking at it in a vacuum of what he's done for Detroit, it shouldn't. But it's the narrative that exists around Jared Goff because he was the cast-off quarterback from L.A. That's how everybody saw it in that deal. He was the cast-off to get Matthew Stafford. And the Detroit Lions were, we're taking this on and we'll see what we have. And then when you actually got to see it on the field last year with the weapons that they accumulated around him, he's worth that.
Jared Goff's one of those players that's so funny to me because people make up their mind about a guy because he went number 1. Mm-hmm. And he was never special per se in LA, but he did take him to a Super Bowl. But he's not Tom Brady, so all of a sudden he's a bust. That's dumb. That's a dumb thing that people say. And I saw all the reaction. I mean, I had a bunch of people message me. We were actually in a meeting when that came down. And we got back to the car and headed back to Asheville. And I looked at my phone. I had all these texts of, man, this makes me feel better about the Joe Burrow deal. Man, this makes me feel better about Justin Herbert. Man, this makes me feel better about Lamar Jackson. I don't know why. I mean, your quarterback is worth whatever the market is when they come up. Either you have a franchise quarterback or you don't. Is Jared Goff a franchise quarterback? The answer is yes.
I don't disagree. Would he be worth this anywhere else? Who cares? I heard that so many times. Well, if you put him on any other team, who cares? You know what team he's on? This one.
Mm-hmm.
You know what team he's almost taken to a Super Bowl? This one. You know what team he's on a path to take them to a Super Bowl? This one. And is that worth $53 million a year?
Yep.
100% it is. I'm the Detroit Lions.
How many Jared Goff jerseys did you see while we were in Detroit?
I didn't really notice.
I did. And it was a lot. And look, I'm not saying this from the perspective of, oh, he sells jerseys. Detroit loves him. Not tolerates him. Not, oh, he's our guy for now, but we're still out looking. Brad Holmes did not treat him like he was a throwaway in that deal. He wanted Jared Goff. And everybody else's perception on this is what made it such a good value for the last handful of years.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're here. That's their guy.
Yep.
And I'm all in on Detroit. I thought the schedule laid out nicely. What is it? I think 5 of their last 8 games are at home, which is really beneficial. And, I mean, yeah, they play the Bears, the 49ers, and the Colts on the road. But I don't really see a way that they don't finish out 6-2 from week 11 on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to me, I would say the Lions are probably the safest team in the NFL to make the playoffs. Do you think I'm out of my mind saying that?
No, I do not. The ceiling is really high, and the floor, well, it's high as well. That's
Matt Penn in our
there's
YouTube.
Not much play here.
Matt Penn in our YouTube chat has a good question here. Any chance the NFC North cannibalizes itself and only one team makes the playoffs?
No.
Why? But why is that your answer? I agree with you.
Because there's not enough division games to sway that.
There are if you had a lot of other teams that were vying for these spots. But then you look at the rest of the schedule and you realize that they play the AFC East. So one of them gets the Jets, one of them gets the Dolphins. They're in reasonably advantageous positions. Minnesota gets New England, but that doesn't really matter. Then they play the AFC South, which, yeah, it's not great that you have to play the Texans, but you also get the Titans, you get the Colts, you get the Jaguars, which are not super daunting. And the NFC is just not great. I mean, I don't see a path more than one team comes out of the AFC or NFC South. Do you?
No.
I don't. The NFC East, it's 2 at most.
Yes.
So really, you're contending for 2 wildcard spots with the West. And I would say it's more likely that they cannibalize each other because they play a significantly tougher schedule to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When I went through and did my predictions, I ended up with, obviously, you have the 4 division winners, but then after that, you've got 4 teams from 2 divisions. I got LA, Seattle, Chicago, and Green Bay. One of those is getting left out of the playoffs. And in my tiebreaker scenario, somehow it ended up being Seattle gets the nod over Green Bay. But Green Bay's right there on the periphery. One little flip, and Green Bay's in and Seattle's out.
Green Bay, that sounds like a nice place to go after the break.
Indeed. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal
Clear
on ESPN Asheville. Great-looking afternoon, but do not get used to this because once I give you enough rope, you're going to yank it back as the showers, thunderstorms return as quickly as tomorrow. 75 sunny degrees today. Tonight, clear with some fog late, mid-50s. And a chance of a shower tomorrow morning. Better chance, actually pretty good chance in the afternoon. Scattered showers, thunder, 75. And shower storms still in the weekend forecast. From the Weather Channel, I'm Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's. Try Wendy's new Cinnabon Pull-Apart. Wendy's new Cinnabon Pull-Apart is here to satisfy morning cravings with its warm, sweet cinnamon sugar rolled dough, ooey-gooey texture, and signature cream cheese frosting. Get the best part in every bite this morning with Wendy's new Cinnabon Pull-Apart. Only at participating U.S. Wendy's.
In this week's Marketers Report, Chris Brandt, Chief Marketing Officer at Chipotle Mexican Grill, weighs in on the power of audio, specifically audio influencers.
Audio has been a key component for us. Our consumer is omni-channel, so we need to be omni-channel. We've used audio to reinforce what we're showing on TV, what we're showing in other digital channels. When your priority is driving reach, boy, everybody seems to listen to the radio. I think using the audio influencers has been a huge component for us. Working with iHeart, we were able to really tease out the audio influencers in key markets that were authentic Chipotle fans. And because it's authentic and because they're seen as trusted friends by the customers and the listeners, it's really been an effective strategy.
As the #1 audio company.
Chaz wants to know if we can start with the AFC South tomorrow. I'm all good with that.
Live conversations, trusted influencers, and the insights and data you need to grow. Not just a media company. iHeartMedia is your access company. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
WWNC is Western North Carolina.
Okay, that's a vote for one. All right, here we go.
Stories behind the big issues.
From the county to Congress to the White House.
On News Radio 570 WWNC.
When the flowers come into bloom, it is like a field of dreams. Hi, I'm Belinda Smith. My husband Russ and I own Briar Hill Farm in Pickens, South Carolina. Ingles has really brought awareness to locally grown flowers. And they've made it convenient for customers to be able to purchase local flowers, and customers realize the advantage of local flowers being fresher and lasting longer.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate,
Are you back?
you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at ClarissaSellsWNC.com. And did I mention
All right.
he loves teaching
Chaz wants to start with the AFC South tomorrow. Are you okay with that?
It's fine with me.
for more information?
Okay. All right, Chaz, we'll do that.
6343 or ClarissaSellsWNC@gmail.com.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling? Because I love football.
Oh, and it feels like it's not as far away anymore because we've got games on the schedule now. We know when the games are going to take place. We're just going to have to wait for them for a while.
Well, I mean, you also
NFL
know that our schedule is really cranking up after I come back and you come back from vacation. We started on summer scouting. We started on fantasy football. And then next thing you know, there are games, and they're like right here.
That's right. That's right. Next thing you know, football season is here, and we're all, well, gathered around the YouTube channel here to follow the Sportsocracy and all of the dumbassery that takes place here on ESPN Asheville. And the YouTubes, 12 to 3 every weekday. But then all of the Saturday, Sunday shenanigans that are going to take place this year with the Livin' the Dream Tour.
And tomorrow we announce all of the dumbassery because we have more that we haven't told you about. I did kind of accidentally slip up and tell some things last night that I wasn't supposed to, but everybody was cool about it and nobody said anything about it today, and I appreciate that. That was cool. That was kind of like when you have too many tequilas and you say something that you shouldn't. You go, hey, we going to be cool about that, or are we going to be a jerk?
Another reason why when I say, hey, Jeremy says he's going to go live from his house tonight, you might want to tune in. You never know what he's going to get into.
Well, last night wasn't booze related either. I was making cake pops with my kid, which have you ever made a cake pop?
I've never made cake pops.
Dude, let me just I'm going to give you the best piece of advice you'll ever get in your life. Don't try it. Don't think about it. Don't float it. Don't say you're going to do it. She did 90% of the work, and I'm exhausted today. So, she's a kid. She bounces. I don't. I'm old. And that was not awesome.
Okay. We'll continue the NFL schedule breakdown here. Talking about the NFC teams today. We'll do the AFC teams tomorrow. Ches in the YouTube comments requested that we do the AFC South first tomorrow. So AFC South fans, tune in early.
We're amenable. All you got to do is ask, because you know how we pick these things? Hey, you want to start with blank? Sure.
Sounds good to me. Sounds like a show. We say that an awful lot.
Yeah.
The Detroit Lions, we both have them winning this division. We both have them atop the NFC. You have them as your 1 seed in the playoffs.
Yes.
I have them as my 2 seed in the playoffs. They're expected Well, at least I'm expecting them to kind of run away with this division.
I'm not.
Although there's going to be good teams left, I still feel like they got a couple of games up on everybody in the division. Your number 2 in the NFC South or NFC North is who?
The Green Bay Packers.
The Green Bay Packers, all right. How good were you to them?
11-6. They're my first wild card team, and they had a shot at the division the last week of the season. Detroit needed to lose, and they didn't. But had they lost, then Green Bay would have won the division.
Okay. I think what you and I have done here is flip the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears. So I got the Bears, or excuse me, I got the Green Bay Packers at 10-7, third place in this division.
I can't get there. I can't get there because there's so many moving pieces with the Bears. The Bears win a couple games that would surprise you, but they also lose a couple games that are kind of dumb.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about the Packers further here. As far as the schedule laid out for them, I mean, you start with Philadelphia with the Brazil game,
and that part's not great. But
that'll be interesting to see how they respond to traveling with the special game and all of that. But then Indianapolis at Tennessee, Minnesota, that's a way to roll off 3 wins in a row. Get back on the winning track.
You got no disagreement out of me.
You got to go to L.A. Then you pick up a win with Arizona. L.A.'s a loss for me.
L.A. was a loss for me.
Houston at home, that's a loss.
I had Green Bay winning that game.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I have a feeling we probably flipped these next 2.
Well, we may have. And then at Jacksonville's a win, and then Detroit's a loss.
Yep, we flipped all 3 of those games. I had them beating Detroit in Lambeau, had them beating Houston in Lambeau, losing to Jacksonville in Jacksonville. That's that stereotypical sandwich game where you have division rival the week after, which is really important. You just had one of the best teams in the AFC. Those were both emotional, and you kind of let one slip against Jacksonville on the road with long travel. Mm-hmm. That was my thought. But look, I mean, I think this sets up just fine for Green Bay. You can get your feet under you because you have 3 non-playoff teams for me in the first 4 weeks of the season. The Brazil travel is kind of annoying, but it's not that bad. The game's on Friday. It's not like you're playing Sunday and then you have to play the next Sunday. You get 2 extra days of rest. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. And that's coming off the preseason where you had 2 weeks in between your last quote-unquote game and
right.
week 1.
Back half of the schedule is it's not nice, but it could be manageable.
If you're a playoff team and you're as good as everybody tells me you are, and as good as – I mean, look, I think they're good. Mm-hmm. I'm still not in love with their quarterback, but I think they're very, very good.
I think they're NFC good. I don't know that you'd be good in the AFC, but you're NFC good, and you can threaten for a playoff spot. And you're going to have, I feel like, enough winnable games down the stretch that if you need to roll off some wins, there's a chance that you can do that at the end.
I'm going to say something.
A real tight race for the playoffs with them and the Bears.
I'm going to say something that's kind of insane here. And once I explain it, it's not going to sound as crazy as it sounds, or as it does at first glance. I could make the argument that the Lions are the most likely team in the NFC to make the playoffs. I think I could make a compelling argument that Green Bay is too.
Okay.
I mean, to me, the NFC East, if you told me that the Eagles just stay cratered because his name went out of my head.
Nick Sirianni.
Sirianni. I was every Italian name I've ever heard was running through my head. He's just still a dumpster fire. The Cowboys find a way to win the division, and the Eagles are that first team out. Would it stun you? No. Wouldn't stun me in the least. Any team in the NFC South could win it. I wouldn't be shocked, even nominally. The Rams and the 49ers, the Packers and the Lions, I feel incredibly solid that those 4 teams make the playoffs. You have 2 other division winners. I feel pretty good about the Eagles. the South is a toss-up, and then you've got Seattle, Chicago, and maybe Tampa Bay, if they're not the division winner, fighting for the other wild card spot.
Mm-hmm.
It's really straightforward to me.
Yeah, DNA Tooth Podcast says a healthy Green Bay team is the third best team in the NFC. That feels bold.
Okay, hold on. I misheard that. I read exactly what he said, and I heard it completely differently for some reason. What I heard was a healthy Green Bay team is the third best team in the AFC, and I was just going to add East to that and go, and now I agree with you. A healthy Green Bay team might be the second best team in the NFC. They could also be the seventh.
Yes.
I don't feel like everything is as in cement. I think that's where the disconnect for me is with Packer fans, is that you're going in with that big Penix energy that I feel like should be reserved for a team like Detroit or San Francisco that was just in the NFC Championship game, brings everybody back. Everything's the same. I know what Jared Goff is. I know what Brock Purdy is. You got 8 games out of a quarterback that was doing a lot of beating up on bad teams. And before you argue with me on that, go back and look at that schedule. There's a lot of Minnesotas, Carolinas. Oh, but he beat the Bears in week 1 and week 18. Week 1, they were awful. Week 18, they were playing for nothing.
That was like one of the worst teams in the league.
Exactly.
Happy about that.
I mean, you can spin that narrative all you want to. Jordan Love beat up on a bunch of New York Giants and nonsense like that. It gives me the angina to put that in concrete. But what Tooth said is true.
Yeah, although he did have wins against the Chiefs and the Lions on the road and the Rams as well. I mean, there were games that you went, okay, there's something there. There's something that can be special.
Oh, I didn't say he should be working at the Home Depot. That game against the Chiefs, he did his job. If Marquez Valdez-Scantling could catch a cold in a freezer, you lose.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sold that New York, that Green Bay is the no doubt playoff team that many people believe that they are. Just not ready to take that leap with Jordan Love that he is on that the top of the second tier level just yet.
DNA said exactly what I was looking for a Packer fan to say. He said, I'm probably the hardest on Jordan Love. I just think he gets better, and I think the defense gets better. I see a path we're terrible and a path where we're really good. That's all I'm asking for. That's it. I see no path they're terrible.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was getting ready to say.
Oh, sorry.
No path that you're terrible.
I had already started a good rant, and I heard you faintly in my right can.
Yeah, no, you're good. There is no way that they're terrible, but I also don't see the high side.
I see the high side.
For a Super Bowl. I don't see that.
I see the high side. Well, Super Bowl's you're probably a year ahead on that. Mm-hmm. But I see a path. If we're sticking into the path of really good, I'm fine with that. I see a path that they're elite at home. And, you get that Lambeau advantage in the playoffs, and anything can happen.
Yep.
The only thing I would be remiss to say, if I didn't say, is I do see a path where you're largely average and you get way more of that Jordan Love that you tended to see in the first half of games, and way less of the special that you saw, just teardrops in a bucket in the second half of games. That was always weird to me. It's still weird to me.
In a playoff run, which is what Green Bay, I expect them to be going into Christmas week, week 16 next year. They got the Monday night football game, or I guess that's the week before Christmas. So they got the Monday night football game on the 23rd at home against the New Orleans Saints. Next week, you go to the Minnesota Vikings, and the final week of the season, you have a showdown with the Bears to end it all out on Sunday, January the 5th. If you need to win 3 games to get into the playoffs, I'm all the way in on the Jordan Love train to get that done. I think that's, now that I'm looking at the schedule deeper, I think that's where I screwed this up and had Seattle over them in the playoffs. I think I was about a game too low on Green Bay. They should have been a playoff team in my initial markings here. But they weren't, because I had the Bears finishing ahead of them at 11-6. Am I pushing it too far?
No. I mean, I don't have them. I've got the Bears at 9-8, and they're the last NFC playoff team.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that's that untoward.
I'm really believing in the Shane Waldron experience here. I think he will be able to come in and make this the best offensive team we've ever seen from the Chicago Bears.
That's not saying much.
It's not. But with that and the talent on the defense, and Eberflus, I still feel like he is a good defensive coach.
He is. The defense was markedly better by the end of last year.
And
they added Montez Sweat,
level,
and it changed everything.
Yeah, if they're playing at a high level, then this team's going to be real dangerous if they're the best offensive team we've ever seen from this franchise.
Look, I think they're going to be really good. They're going to lose some games that are maddening.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just maddening. But I think they're going to win some games that don't make a whole lot of sense, too.
Mm-hmm. And on the flip side of what I just said about Green Bay, I hate the last 3 games of the schedule if you're chasing a playoff spot for Chicago, because you've got Detroit at home, a Thursday nighter against the Seahawks at home, and then you're in Lambeau to close out the season.
I hate the last one, but there is a possibility that Green Bay's not playing for anything. The 2 previous ones, the only thing I would tell you is that you have a dome team in Detroit that's playing outside, and Seattle that we feel good about, but we're not in love with. And you get that game at the end of the season when you've had the chance for everything to gel together. The thing about Chicago is that I wanted their schedule to start slow. Well, it started about as slow as it can, because you got the entire AFC South and the Rams and the Rams and the Panthers, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
That's about as slow as you were going to get. So that gives you 6 weeks and a bye week to get Caleb acclimated. 2 on the road at Washington, at the Cardinals, 1 back home against Green Bay or against New England, and then your schedule really starts. The ugliest part of this schedule is from week 11 on, and that's all I could have asked for if I was Matt Eberflus.
Yeah.
Hey, there's one more team in this division, and
Una Mas.
We didn't save much time to talk about them because we didn't really need to.
We didn't need to. It's the Minnesota Vikings. I have the Vikings as a 2-win team. That's way lower than I expected to be on them.
If you had told me you were going to be lower on the Vikings than I was, I would have disagreed with that pretty vehemently.
Well, as I went through the schedule week by week, I went, okay, you got the Giants. And then I don't really see an advantage in any other game on your entire schedule.
The funny thing is I have them losing to the Giants.
Do you really?
I do. I have Minnesota winning 3 of its last 6 or 3 of its last 6.
Okay.
They beat Arizona, Atlanta, and Chicago in that stretch where they play 3 in a row at home and then lose the last 3 out. And they wind up 5-12.
Wow. You have no favors on your schedule.
Nope.
And you don't have a quarterback. And
you're just not very good. I mean, this team's just not very good. And you're either gonna have to ride with Sam Darnold, or you're gonna have to take the lumps with JJ McCarthy. I'm not sure either one of those is gonna be great, and I don't see how you're gonna beat good teams. You can beat bad teams.
Mm-hmm.
So when I put all this together, the Vikings play 10 games against teams that make the playoffs. That is insane. And it's actually 11 because I just realized it didn't count the Texans.
Oh, wonderful.
So 11 of their 17 games are against teams that make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, tough games on that schedule, and there's only a handful that I can see you, being really in those games.
It's not ideal.
No, it's not. Not at all. You know what is ideal? Hitting the road. I've gotten real used to this whole travel thing this year. As we went on the trip to the Indianapolis Combine, we went to the NFL Draft in Detroit, saw some new places, and decided, well, you know what? We want to get out and see more things. So we're going on the Livin' the Dream tour in the 2024 NFL and NCAA football season. Thanks to Ingles Markets, we're hitting the road and hitting a whole bunch of games. One more to announce today before the full schedule release tomorrow. Jeremy, on October the 12th.
I feel like you have to hit the song, if for nothing else, for our buddy Chris Mathers that said he had never heard his fight song on this show. We already told you about one Tennessee game because we're going to the Dukes Mayo Classic between Tennessee and NC State. But we would be remiss if we didn't see old Rocky Top up in the Tennessee Hills October the 12th. Florida Gators taking on the Tennessee Volunteers. And I'm not going to lie to you, I might break out a pair of orange and white checkered overalls. Just solely because I know I could take a sign, but most of the Florida Gator fans couldn't read it. So it kind of defeats the purpose. I really need them to understand that even when you're not playing my team, I still hate you. I don't care who you play. It's still anybody but Florida. I'm very excited. Have you ever been to Neyland?
I have been to Neyland for a concert. I've never been for a football game. I've been inside it when nobody's there, but I've never seen it packed on a game day. It's a bucket list opportunity for me. I'm glad that we're making the trip up there because as much as I hate Florida and I hate Tennessee, as a Georgia fan, that is a place that you have to experience.
I always
Neyland
laugh.
Stadium on game day is just a different kind of animal.
I always laugh when people say I'm anti-Tennessee, and I'm going to say this for what is probably the 20th time on this show. When I was picking what college to go to, the final two were West Virginia and Tennessee. So I do have a little love in my heart, and part of it is this stadium on game day because I saw it 2 times as I was making this decision, and I have not been back since. So this will be my first time at Neyland in 20 years.
Wow. All right. Well, Tennessee and Florida, October the 12th, just the latest game that we have revealed in our Livin' the Dream tour for 2024. Each and every weekend, we are hopping out to a different spot around the Southeast, kicking it all off. Well, not in the Southeast. In Ohio, August the 1st through the 4th. Trip begins with an appearance at the Hall of Fame game up in Canton, Ohio. We're living the dream with Ingles Markets, and we will you can rejoin us tomorrow here in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville back at noon as we continue the breakdown of the NFL schedule. AFC teams on the way tomorrow. Have a great evening.
Western North Carolina.
And we're clear.
Yeah. All right, I will see you in the morning. I'll get all this set up before I record that real estate show, and we'll get her all put together.
Time and money to local.
Okay, cool deal.
All right, man. See you in the morning.
Businesses that help boost
the
area that we work, play, and live in. AirVent Exteriors encourages you to support the companies in your backyard and to visit airventexteriors.com.
Oh. This North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club espresso is strong.
Pace yourself. New winners tend to overdo it on the coffee. And with new scratch-offs out, well...
Hey guys, I'm a new winner. My name's Steve. What's your name? I really love this coffee. Wow, this place is great. Glad I grabbed a new scratch-off. Okay, nice to meet you. Gonna get a massage. Ooh, I think I need to relax.
Told you.
This month's tickets pack $135 million in total prizes. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.41 to 4.25. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
people are talking about Summit Dental in Asheville. Just check out their Google reviews. One patient writes, "I'll start by saying I really hate going to the dentist. My anxiety is always through the roof and I'm always so nervous. However, Summit Dental may be the first place that my anxiety is actually not going through the roof. The staff that works at Summit are an incredible team. They're kind, knowledgeable, and funny. I left feeling confident that we have a plan to help restore my teeth and get me on track to a better smile." Find out more about Summit Dental at AshevilleSummitDental.com or call 828-277-6868.
Xfinity has free premium networks for everyone this month, no matter what kind of entertainment you love. Addicted to true crime? Catch killer cases and more spine-tingling shows on A&E Crime Central. Crave adventure? Explore Asian action movies on Hi-Ya. Searching for something extreme? Check out skating, snowboarding, and more on Fuel TV Plus, the global home of action sports. And find crowd-pleasing bops on iHeartRadio's Hit Nation playlist. There's new free shows and movies to love every week. Say free this week in your Xfinity voice remote.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Great looking afternoon, but do not get used to this because once I give you enough rope, I'm going to yank it back as the showers, thunderstorms return as quickly as tomorrow. 75 sunny degrees today. Tonight, clear with some fog late, mid-50s. And a chance of a shower tomorrow morning. Better chance, actually pretty good chance in the afternoon. Scattered showers, thunder, 75. And shower storms still in the weekend forecast. From the Weather Channel, I'm Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Don't miss your chance to save big this Memorial Day at Lowe's. Buy one, get 150% off select interior and exterior paint and exterior stain via Lowe's gift card rebate. More terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/rebates for details. Valid through 5/29.
Spring cleaning on your home. Give my friends at Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning a call. Right now, mention ESPN Asheville, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $129. Book online at ZeroResAsheville.com.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.